Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. Back again with Crime and Sports, and we're going to do a fun one today.
Great.
We have a hockey player, number one, so those are always fun because brain damage, obviously, is going to be involved.
Yeah.
And it's a foreign hockey player as well, so you know we're going to have fun talking about a guy from a country that we know very little about.
Yeah.
That's always going to be fun there. So before we get into that, though, just want to thank everybody, first of all, for your reviews this week. They mean a lot to us, and we don't understand why, but they really do. They help drive us up the charts, so you're doing heroes work if you're doing that. Thank you. Give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say. Apple Podcast, that purple icon, you got to feed them reviews. That's what it is. So it helps a lot. Thank you for doing that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for tickets to the virtual live show.
I can't wait.
May the 6th. It's a Thursday night. It'll be available for the next 72 hours after that, too, so you can check it out on the weekend if you want. Oh, my goodness, are we excited for this. If you've never experienced live crime and sports, and we haven't had a lot of live shows. We do a full tour with Small Town Murder where we do 40 cities, and then we'll do like 2 crime and sports dates. So if you have not experienced it, you really, really need to, because there's nothing better than live crime and sports.
Yeah,
it's
bananas.
All the stuff we're telling you and pictures to make fun of and everything else. It's so much fun. So do that. Shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets and be there and hang out with us.
It's 3.5 weeks away.
Yeah, May 6th. It's coming up. So get your damn tickets right now. You got to do it. Also, this week, you definitely want to get on Patreon. Patreon.com/crime and sports is the place to be. This week, we have a fun one for crime and sports. My God, so much fun. We are going to do, we've had, only because this has been requested nonstop for like the last 3 years since we've been doing anything on Patreon. It's been, please, 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 can you do a thing of sports movies? Talk about your favorite sports movies. So we are going to do that. We're going to construct our own top 5 of all time.
Right.
Each of us are going to have a list, and you can listen to those, and then we're going to talk about the bad ones and the good ones, and it'll just turn into us making fun of actors and shit. So you should definitely listen to that. It's going to be fun. A loosey-goosey talk with us.
Outstanding.
A lot of people like those, so enjoy that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And also, Jimmie will give you a shout out at the end of the show, because you're a producer.
You are.
You are an important part of the team, and we'll give you a shout out. I mean, not important enough for him to figure out how to say your name correctly, because he'll mess it up, but not on purpose.
Yeah.
He'll try.
I'm going hard.
And it'll still be wrong. So that's fine. Do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Or if you just want to be a good person with great karma and also be a producer who has your name mispronounced, you can do that over at PayPal using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Right.
That said, I think it's time to get into this.
Let's do it.
We got just a wild, weird story.
Okay.
I like the stories that are, it's weird because we have different types of stories. You have the story of someone who's like getting in trouble when they're 12, and then they continue to get in trouble. Their athleticism and all that shit takes them, to the point where no one cares, and they cover up for them. And then, it comes out later, obviously, when they're arrogant and they have millions of dollars. They don't tend to find a better center for themselves at that point. No. It's almost like whatever they are, if you give someone a shitload of money, they're just going to be that more so.
They amplify it.
Yeah, because they figure whatever they're doing worked.
Yeah.
So they're not going to fix themselves.
And it buys them better opportunities to pull the shenanigans and shitbaggery.
And get away with it.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, well, he's just temperamental. And it's like, so.
Ain't he a character?
Yeah. So we have that. And then we have these kind of like, You'll have guys that are just fuck-ups like Chris Herron a few weeks ago who just got into heroin at too young of an age. Yeah. Well, what age isn't really too young? You know? Outside of, in the night. Like, if my grandmother started shooting up right now, I'd go, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
What do you got to lose? You know, you're on.
It's time to run that ride.
You're on big time house money.
Yeah.
Like, doctors are shocked you're alive.
Yeah.
Shocked. They're like, she should have been dead months ago.
Right.
She's a zombie woman. So if she wants to shoot heroin, knock yourself out. But otherwise, you know, you have those. And you have people who are just menaces to society.
Yeah.
And then you have a story like this, which is a very, very strange, weird story that we don't get very often. Normally, guys are either straight and narrow or they're willing to go off the beaten path and be fuck-ups. You usually don't get a mix of that together, and that's what we have here. It's very, very odd.
Sometimes you get a guy that is just a phony that has zero athletic talent and is able to just buy his way into it.
That works, too, like Scott Tucker. Yeah, he just can bilk 4 million people and then be able to buy a race team. If you make billions of dollars, you steal billions of dollars, you can buy cool race cars.
It's really rad.
I mean, it's awesome. You can get anything you want.
It's amazing what's for sale.
Whatever's out there, man. It's fucking crazy. So we are going to talk about a hockey player today, a defenseman.
Right.
So they're usually, it's always the defenseman, too, that we talk about for some pro bird. It's
the goons.
Because they have the most brain damage.
Yeah.
They're the ones checking, being checked, fighting all the time.
And really,
punched in the head.
Their job is to break the rules.
That kind of, I mean, the enforcer of a team, like a probert, his job is to police and keep, whoever the scorer is safe.
Right.
No cheap shots on him or I'm coming at you with a stick.
Right.
That's how it is. So this guy, his name is Jiri Bubla.
Oh, boy.
Okay. I believe it's Jiri, Jiri.
That sounds like,
He's a Czech. He's Czechoslovakian. Jiri Bubla. Do you want to guess what his nickname is, Jimmy?
No.
Okay.
The Boob.
His nickname is Boobs.
Yeah.
Which is...
Not the Boob.
Nope, just Boobs. Which makes it sound like he's hauling a set of C cups around the ice, doesn't it?
I like it.
Hey, look at Boobs over there. Hey, look at him. He's jiggling.
His last name does him no favors.
No, Bubla, Boobs. It's...
It's pretty. I can get from A to B there. That's easy.
And he's so foreign, he's like, I don't know what that means. He probably doesn't even know. What the hell does he know? So, he's born January 27th, 1950.
Okay.
I almost said January 20th, 1957, but no. Tired brings dyslexia. Yeah. So he is born in, you ready for this, Jimmy?
Yeah.
I'm sure you visited here many times.
In the summers.
It's a vacation spot everyone goes to. Ústí nad Labem, Czechoslovakia.
Wow.
Go there a lot?
Never heard of it.
Neither have I. How many Czech cities have you heard of? Though?
I was just about. I don't think I know a single Czech. I know that really hot women are Czech. And
Eastern,
that's all I know. I don't even know where it is.
Czech Republic is one of those places that like somebody would vaguely be going to like rescue someone in an action movie, you know, like rescue a CIA guy who's been kidnapped behind Russian lines in Czechoslovakia.
I've even seen Czech dudes that I'm just like, Jesus, what do they do in Czechoslovakia? They're just handsome and hot
and play hockey.
Yeah,
and they keep their facial structure still somehow.
High cheekbones, hot women, and handsome men.
Damn Czechs.
That's the Czechs. That's what I know about.
That's what we know. And also, I remember vaguely that when I was a kid. When we were both kids, it was on the news that there was a lot of shit going on there. I remember that. There was things, and then it broke up, and it wasn't.
I was just going to say, it doesn't even exist anymore,
no, it's
right?
the Czech Republic now.
Okay.
And then there's other shit around it that branched off. But that was all after the Soviet Union fell, because this is a Soviet bloc country.
Got it.
So he grew up in from 1950 on. We're talking hardcore communist.
He's seen it.
Czechoslovakia here. The name of Ústí nad Labem is from an old Czech word. Ústí means river mouth. Okay. So that's what that is. Yeah. So it's not, and I guess Lab is something about the river that's there, the Elbe River.
Yeah.
So it means mouth upon the Elbe. Okay. That's what it means. So it sounds really aggressive, though.
Yeah.
Sounds like something that a taxi driver would yell at you if you cut him off. Ústí nad Labem. You're like, I'm sorry, dude. Shit, I'm not from here. You're fucking, my bad, bro. Jesus Christ.
The only thing I got that starts with lab is labia. Yeah. You put mouth around it.
Labor or labia. Yeah. Those are the only.
This is just mouth to pussy station.
That's
guess
what this
is.
And athletes have torn labrums.
Yeah,
I know
right. There's that too. Yeah.
But this is Usti nad Leben.
Okay.
You son of a bitch. How dare you cut me off? So it's a reference to the location of this whole thing. So this is really weird. A little bit of history of the city just to tell you the kind of place. This in the 1990s now, late 1990s this happened. After the Soviet Union fell, they put up a 150 meter long wall, which is almost 500 feet of wall.
It's pretty short.
Constructed along a part of Matisny Street, separating houses on one side from the tenement blocks on the other. They literally put a wall.
That's how they shut out the ghetto?
They shut it out with a fucking literal wall. I guess the tenements were mainly Romanis, and so they didn't want to live near them.
Okay.
And so they turned into a big scandal internationally, and they were
500 feet of wall is such a big deal there.
Yeah, well, they said it's not meant to segregate by race, but to keep respectable citizens safe from noise and rubbish coming from the opposite side of the street.
What's the difference between those words?
That's the point. Yeah, it's not. I don't dislike them because of they're Romani. They're just filthy pigs. It's like, okay, well, I think either way,
it's not racist. They're just shitbags, and I don't like them.
It's fucked up, man.
I don't want to look at them.
Yeah, so. That's where he's born anyway, but that was in the late 90s. He was well gone by then.
Sure.
I'll tell you later where he was by then. But that's where he was born, and his family, his father's a hockey coach. Mm-hmm. So when you're a hockey coach, whatever you do in the Soviet Union, you're doing it for the state. Mm-hmm. And they tell you where you need to be.
Oh, I don't like that.
You're a cog in whatever they're doing. So they say, okay, we need a hockey coach here, and we like this guy. We're moving him here, so you're moving there.
Yeesh.
Period. Like a corporate relocation with no choice.
Right.
Corporate relocation or gulag. Those are your options. Right. So it's
with corporations. At least you can say, "Nah, I quit."
You can quit. Right. You can go find another job.
You can't quit the country.
No, they won't let you cash your 401k out. I'm pretty sure if you quit Czechoslovakia.
This is a terrible place.
This Checo 1K is not gonna work here. So when he is a young boy, the government moves his father and
obviously them too,
hence the family, to a rural area, because this is a pretty large city. It's not like their biggest city, but he comes from it's a city.
Yeah.
And they move to a place called, Jesus Christ, Anji Ust. Mm-hmm. So ANJI Ust. Which, I mean, like I said, many summers my family has spent there. Oh, my grandparents would regale me of the tales of...
It's another frustration sound.
The summers.
Yeah.
Hanji Ust. Yeah. Usti nad Lapum. Fuck, he's going to kill me, I think. He's very angry with me, that guy.
I think I've said that dropping a hammer on my foot before.
Hanji Ust. Hanji Ust. So this is a rural area, basically. It's kind of an outpost that they put this guy in, but this is like where they have youth hockey camps.
Okay.
So basically he has to be there to do all these youth hockey camps, and he has a youth team that's like one of the, whatever. They have all these different leagues that the state sponsors, and he's, one of these levels. I think it's an under 17 team, 17-year-olds that he's coaching. So they move to the mountains. It's kind of like on the edge of a mountains. It's in the forest, basically. Yeah, it's not. It sounds like Hansel and Gretel. I mean, it's probably not that bad. I mean,
it's probably gorgeous.
It is. It's pretty. I've seen the thing here. I've seen like pictures of the area because I didn't know shit about Soviet Union, so I was or Czechoslovakia, so I was looking it up. So his mother, on the other hand, is a homemaker.
Yeah,
she stays home, but she has to send out, like, as part of the father's thing, she has to send out thousands of mailers a day.
Oh, God.
She has to, like, stuff mailers.
She's the recruiter.
It's youth athletics propaganda, basically.
Oh, my God.
I would say it's like, advertising for it, but it's like a fucking barrage of it. Yeah. Like, she has to send out, and it's every day she has to do this.
She got a scout, too, or does she just get, like, a list of leads, and she's got to stuff envelopes?
From what I understand, she has to just stuff all the envelopes.
God,
she gets all the things in, like, almost like somebody's political campaign.
Yeah.
Like, they have to stuff the envelopes, and then she had to take them, like, some guy would pick him up every day and take him to ship out, and
That's awful.
It's crazy. And then the father would be sometimes for a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time in this youth hockey camp in the fucking mountains, and then sometimes he'd have to travel with the youth league team, and she's stuck in there. The problem is also you were given, this is the thing too, because you're like taken care of by the state. They don't pay you and then you pay rent.
Right.
They gave you a house. So he's given.
I'm sure it's beautiful.
It's a wooden framed house is the only
that's
explanation.
The definition, right.
Yeah, it's a wooden framed house. So I assume it's probably, I don't know how it stands up to the mountainous Czech winters, really. You know what I'm saying?
Every house in Phoenix is wood framed, but there's a difference between wood framed and built well.
Yes, and that I can't imagine this, late 50s Czech Republic mountain house for a hockey coach.
Drive around the airport. Those condemned houses, also wood frames.
I mean, there's a lot of wood in there. They'll burn. If you light them, they'll burn.
Somebody probably should.
That's a fucking fact. Yeah, it's very weird, though. They move them out there, and they don't really get any money is the problem.
Yeah.
So you're going to notice something that's missing here. They get a wooden house. Okay, that's part of what they get.
Yeah.
They give them a mule.
Oh boy,
that's part of it too.
Yeah.
And this is the house that like every hockey coach has lived in. Like this is where they move the hockey coach for this post.
It's like
basically
a comedy condo.
It's exactly what it is. I was going to say it's like a weird comedy condo, corporate housing.
Yeah.
But you live there for years with your family, and it's in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my god!
And it sounds depressing. And so you're given a wooden framed house, a mule.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're
Some
going to
seeds.
No. All I found is you get a wooden framed house they gave them, a mule, and all the hockey equipment that they needed.
Okay. How's about beans and rice?
As you notice something missing from that?
No food.
There's not food.
How do you live?
So they don't get paid, and they don't have food, so...
What do you do?
Well, luckily they're in the forest, so they have to hunt for meat.
Oh, Jesus.
They would get like rice and shit like that, government rations of rice and shit. But then if they want meat,
you gotta go shoot squirrels and Czech wildlife.
You gotta fucking take down the Czech wildlife. And I guess
makes you want to Google Czech wildlife now.
Right? What are they eating over there? Is it cute or is it fucking ugly?
Is it like one of those quokkas? What are they called? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. What the hell are those
the
things?
Double K'd thing, whatever that thing is. It's adorable.
That's what I mean. You don't want to shoot that in the face.
They fucking smile.
They probably have to run up on it and like hack it with a machete or something too. Like,
they aren't rationed bullets.
Ammunition, too much money. Usnad labum. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's all they were good. But they had all the hockey equipment they wanted.
Well,
which,
that's helpful.
I mean, that's really helpful when you're hungry.
Can you beat a quokka with a stick?
I mean, yeah. I'm sure you could. Well, wait till you hear.
Oh, boy.
It wasn't intentional, though. Yeah. We'll get into it. So they had to hunt for their food.
Yeah.
They learned, Jiri learned at a very young age how to go out into the woods, how to hunt shit down. His dad would be gone for weeks at a time, sometime with hockey clinics.
Yeah.
And his mom's got to stuff these mailers, and she's got like a quota. So she, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's got a little brother that she's taking care of too. So Jiri kind of takes it upon himself to be the man of the house back then.
It took me 40 years to understand national pride, and now I get it. Like, if you're doing all of that and the country, I mean, you got to be. I'm a piece of the pie. Like, in America, you're not a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit, is what you are. Nobody cares about you. But that makes,
they were selling that to them as you're a piece of this thing, even though
you matter.
You don't at all. That's why they stuck you in a fucking thing, gave you a mule and a house, and were like, I don't know, kill shit in the forest.
Go survive, fucker.
It's fucked up, man. So Jiri and his little brother, Jesus, what did they just exchange letters? It's Jiri, Jiri, and his little brother is Juru.
Okay.
Juru. So there's got to be something with that in Czech, like that's a
it means something
certain setup. But the J and the R with fucking vowels.
But you
in
can't
between
do
it.
that.
No, Jiri and Juru.
Right.
It's maybe, I don't know, Juru. Maybe it's pronounced different in Czech. Juru. Maybe it's like Yaru. Or
maybe it's Guru.
Yeah, maybe it's Guru. We don't know. But they learned because the fathers, they were too young to be on the father's youth team. because that was like, I want to say it's like 14 to 17.
Sure.
If you're 10, you can't play with 17-year-olds, obviously. So that's not going to work.
Right.
So they had basically all the kids from this area from far and wide, because it wasn't like there's like houses next to each other. It wasn't like track housing out in the forest here.
It's not a subdivision.
So all of these kids whose parents did whatever shit for the government here, they all played hockey. This is where he learned to play hockey, on a frozen pond, which it was cold. They lived up in the mountainous area, so it was cold. So this pond stayed frozen, I want to say, like 8 months out of the year.
I don't know how anybody trusts that shit.
I don't either.
I get it. I understand the weather can freeze ponds and bodies of water. But no, I'm not doing it. I'm not walking out there.
But like up in Canada,
I get it.
They don't. That shit's 5 feet thick.
Right.
It's not
and
going
it's
anywhere.
Below, it's below zero. It's frozen.
Not going
it's
anywhere.
super frozen.
Yeah,
but no,
it's still
I'm
scary.
not doing it.
It's still scary.
People drive cars on that shit.
Yeah. Oh,
They're
that's
out of their
crazy.
minds.
They park out there, and then
drill a hole in the ice.
There's people that have like RVs that have a fucking hatch that they open up and then drill a hole in the ice and they stick it in there.
They drive something tons of weight and then fuck with the ice. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah. That's how thick the ice is, though. That's wild. Like in a frozen pond, it's one of those, I guess, no, I don't know how deep it is.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
I'm not a
that.
hockey guy, so I don't know. I've never had a pair of ice skates on in my life, so I have no clue how that works. But it's he described it, Jiri describes it as thick woods on the edge of the pond. Mm-hmm. So it was like thick woods, and then the woods ended right at this pond.
Okay.
And so the pond was, basically like the boards on one side were trees. Wow. Kind of a thing. Yeah. It was right up to the edge of it. That's what I don't know. That's what I got out of it anyway. And then on the other side was a flat field that went down a hill, and that's where he lived, was like down this hill sort of shit. So they'd have to climb this hill. They'd go to the thing. So there's a reason why I'm telling you about the pond and where the woods are, because they have Jesus Christ. I don't know if this is considered a good thing because you need food. Yeah. But every so often, your worry is that you're going to fall through the ice, correct? Well, you should worry more about the fact that bears will come out of the woods every once in a while.
And the water stops them.
And they'll jump and they'll start going after kids because they see whatever and they go after them. They come out on the ice and a fucking bear is out.
The water would generally stop them.
They would, yes.
But now the ground is solidified and he has a full track to get to you.
And he gets to watch a buffet go back and forth and hide, then just pounce on whatever the fuck he wants. So it was scary, obviously, I would imagine. This is a fucking rough life for a kid, man.
Yeah, you got to look out for a dude that's trying to check you, but also that Czech bear.
Also, there's a Czech bear who's screaming, "Usti nad labem," at you as he comes out of the woods. You're like, oh, God, he's going to eat me. So the Jiri says that he remembers in his childhood, kids that he didn't know that were from a different area, but in this place, that 2 different kids were actually killed by bears while playing hockey on this pond. But that was the pond that you played hockey on, and everybody played hockey. Yeah. So basically, you tried to stay away from. You tried to give it a wide berth on the trees. You wouldn't go down that side. It was considered like very brave if someone took the puck down there and drove. That was a way to have nobody guard you.
If that puck rests near that forest, got another puck? That one's out of bounds.
By the way, if a puck went into the woods, he even said they didn't even go get it. It was like they didn't even go get it.
Lost ball.
Yep. They said it was okay, though, because Jiri had all the hockey equipment they needed, because that was the one thing they could. So, no food.
We need.
Let's recap this. Yeah. No food.
Yeah.
But it's fine to play hockey by a bear-infested forest, and if a puck goes in there, we got you covered. But, no food. So it's fucked up.
I wonder.
Plenty of pucks.
I wonder, did getting checked start by somebody getting eaten by a Czech bear? That's getting checked.
Somebody bumps him, boom, and then a bear takes him. He doesn't go into the boards. He just gets engulfed by a bear.
That is
ripping his throat apart.
CZECK. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's a check, bitch. That's a check.
Yeah.
So, so basically this is his childhood rink. He plays here for years and years and years. Yeah. 2 kids get killed, but he didn't even say it like they were like, it was a huge tragedy or anything like that. It was just like, I mean, you get killed when you. Czechoslovakia is a different place too. I mean, I think they were that's a hardy people.
Sometimes you lose a good man. That's all.
It seems like a hardy people if that's your game. Like, let's go play in a frozen
survived.
pond. Yeah. After you hunt your food,
You damn sure earned it.
Yeah. So there's a particular time. I think Jiri is 12 at this point, and they have a big game. Versus basically there's another village and they formed teams. Jiri actually helped organize this game because it was like an organized game, not just like a pickup game. It was like, okay, you guys get your team and we'll get our team and we're going to really play a game and whatever. They're 12, so they're getting a little more competitive.
Right.
Like a little league that he just organized. So Jiri was 2 years younger, but basically he's allowed to play because Jiri made the other kids let him play.
Okay.
You can tell that Jiri probably is the he's the most forceful. He's the one organizing the game.
Yeah.
He's saying, my little brother's playing, fuck that. Because, I mean, if the guy ends up going on to be a defenseman in the NHL,
right.
At a young age, he probably still had a lot of physicality and probably hockey talent, I would imagine, too, because none of the other kids in the game went on to play in the NHL.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe he just had the talent and they listened to him. Yeah. So he organized the game. He's forceful with the whole thing.
It's usually the guy with the most talent at whatever sport you're playing that ends up being the captain.
That's the thing. You listen to him.
Unspoken, unvoted captain.
Yeah.
Everybody just listens to him. I don't know. He can dunk. That's why we listen to him.
That's so weird because those two qualities are not
dick,
even close to the same thing. They're just not even. Just because you can hit home runs, it doesn't mean anybody wants to talk to you. You know,
you imagine Draymond Green was a leader on a court somewhere.
Yeah,
when he was a kid, kicking people in the dick.
I'm sure he was.
We're gonna listen to that guy.
He's huge. Based on that alone, probably. I got to say that the fucking Subway commercial he's on right now is really
Stop
funny.
It. He has a commercial?
It's really funny, actually.
No.
And I was really annoyed by it.
The fuck out of
It's actually...
I hate to make him a punchline of every joke.
I
know very few players in the league, but he annoys me to no end. I hate him.
Why he annoys me.
I just hate the man.
I just want to see 1992 Charles Oakley run up and fucking
just
lay him out.
Be
like, what the cut that shit out, motherfucker. Just fucking stand over him.
I think it's a combination between the mediocrity that is Draymond Green mixed with the fucking attitude about how great he is mixed with kicking people in the dick over and over and over again. You win
Dennis
titles
Rodman.
when you got a fucking team of unbelievable.
He thinks he's Dennis Rodman.
Right.
Yeah.
He thinks he counted on that team. You didn't, sir.
Yeah. I mean,
could have plugged anybody.
He had a role,
yeah.
but it was a...
Take it easy. You never heard B.J. Armstrong talking about how fucking great he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Bulls had a title before,
Right.
a couple titles before Rodman got there. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
one
feel
of
like
those
if
things.
Twitter was around, John Paxson wouldn't have been fucking tweeting about how amazing he is.
That's good, probably, for him. He hit one shot. He can go fuck himself, that little shithead.
And none of their centers would have been mouthing off.
No,
you know
Will
what I mean?
Purdue's not talking shit.
I don't even think Bill Cartwright would have.
Bill Cartwright, Bill Wennington better shut the fuck up right now. That'll tell you right
He
now.
better button it.
I don't want to hear a word from Bill Wennington.
The good news is we wouldn't understand a word from Tony Kukoc.
No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't understand him. Oh, Luke Longley, too. Remember
The
him?
worst.
Ugh, soft ass.
Yuck.
Fucking pudgy center. Pudgy. You'd be a pudgy center like
That's
that.
fascinating. They had a team full of just dopey-ass white guys, and then Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Rodman. That's it.
Yeah, and like Ron Harper to scare people with his defense because he was fucking just D your ass up.
Yeah.
And Randy, Randy...
oh, boy.
God damn it.
Tin? Is that the guy? Randy.
He's fucking...
I don't know.
Two guard that played sick defense, and now I'm completely forgetting his name.
Played for 6 minutes a season.
Yeah. Now I'm in hockey time, so I don't know. So these guys here, Draymond Green is not on the ice, but Jiri and Jiri are on the ice. Okay. It is during this game where Jiri would try to impress the older kids, obviously, because when you're a younger kid, you want to show that you're tough and you want to show that you're whatever. So Jiri says that Jiri said he was going to go basically look for me open by the forest because I'm going to go over there in the open and I'm going to try to fucking score basically. And they're not going to guard. This will be my only way to get anything and they'll shut him the fuck up basically. So Jiri was like, good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good plan. I like it.
Whole Statue of Liberty. Here we go.
Exactly, yeah. It's the old button hook. Let's do it. So as the game goes on, I don't know what period, I don't know if they had periods or whatever, but somewhere in the course of the game, a bear came out and attacked Yuru.
Oh, no.
So he's trying to get the 10-year-old kid being mauled by a bear, and we're like, hilarious.
Yes, it is, because they should have fucking known.
They should have known. It's 1962 in a defunct country, so it's fine now. You know what I mean? Who cares, right? Happened a long time ago.
Tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Hey, we're against them, so take that, Soviet person. Fucking
Oh my God, this is horrible.
So Jiri, all the kids scatter when this happens. They all scatter. Jiri, because it's his brother, I guess, fucking goes toward the bear.
Oh, dear God.
And begins beating the bear with his stick till it breaks. Then he begins stabbing the bear with his broken fucking stick until the bear let off of his little brother, who had some injuries, but he was scratched up and shit, but he was okay because the bear was like holding on to the brother while he came and bashed him with a fucking stick.
Psychotic.
And then it broke.
And
so he was
stabbed
like,
it.
Fuck it, I'll stab him. This is a 12-year-old.
Right.
That's
on a bear.
On a bear. I mean, I guess the hunting would train you for that, but still, that is...
Oh, my...
that's a crazy fucking
Not
childhood.
Just any bear, a Russian bear.
A fucking bear, man. A Soviet bear. I don't know, it wasn't Russia, but it was
you know what I mean?
Soviet bloc communist bear.
USSR bear.
Those are the worst kind.
They really are.
He was very aggressive.
He was Zangief.
He was Zangief. That's what happened. So Zangief came out of the forest. So after that, the other kids were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Jiri just fucking...
He's our hero forever.
Yeah, he just stabbed a bear with a fucking CCH or whatever the hell those things are. Sticks. He just fucking stabbed.
I think it is.
And the bear, I think it's that. Yeah. And then the bear, I guess, bled off into the woods and took off. And bled off
something bigger in Russia ate it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure
Followed the blood trail.
He was toast once he got in there. He's like, I got to get home quick.
Something very big
be after me. So, I mean, you don't get a crazier childhood.
That's unbelievable.
It is, especially if it was real. It would have been really crazy because none of that happened. None of that happened. None of that at all happened. I couldn't find shit on his childhood. So that's what happened. Sorry to Bernard below you, everybody, but I couldn't help it.
Oh, man.
We don't know shit about the Czech Republic. That's what makes it so great. I'll tell you what's true. Okay.
Listen, there are podcasts that will try to fool you, but none of them will fool you near as well as James Pietragallo on Crime and Sports.
I don't know what the fuck.
It's incredible.
You were really concerned for Yuru, weren't you? You should. He doesn't even exist.
He's not real.
He's not real. Yuru is not a person. He
doesn't even have a brother.
No, I mean he might, but his name is Yuru, and he was never mauled by a bear while playing frozen pond hockey.
Shit.
Here's what's true. He was. His name is Jiri Bulba, or Bubla. His nickname is Boobs.
Okay.
He was born January 27, 1950, in Ústí nad Labem, Czechoslovakia.
At least we got boobs.
None of that, yeah. And the Romani thing with the wall going up in his town, that's a fact, too.
Holy shit.
Anji Ust is not a place. I just made it up. His father wasn't a hockey coach, I don't think. No mailers. No Yuru.
There's no country pride.
No, none of that. No, it's living on the edge of thick woods in a flat field, and, there's no bears. He just grew up in a city in Czechoslovakia.
I'm still worried about going out on frozen ponds, though.
You should be. That's the real risk. Not the bears so much, probably. Why does it seem so believable?
Damn it, I love this show.
Why is this show the best? Oh, God, get your tickets for live crime.
Why did
and
we
sports.
waste this on this? Why did we do this on
I could have had pictures of bears.
You drawing shit?
This is the bear from this is the species that lives in this area. I could have made up I could have just pulled up a picture of some kid. This is young Yuru. You know, just some fucking Czech kid, some Russian kid.
Drop some little hints with the bear from Great Outdoors with the fucking buckshot gun on the fucking face.
Basically, this is this is the Sandlot, is what I just said.
You did.
That's all it was, is the Sandlot, and mixed a couple other little things in it, but that's all I did.
You even had a sidebar about Draymond Green and insulted him for no reason.
So he shouldn't be insulted, because none of it's true. It doesn't matter. 2 kids were killed by bears, Jimmy.
Holy shit.
It's rough. So.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Tell me that wasn't believable, you cocks.
It's my favorite thing I've ever done.
People were Googling Anji Oost, and they're like, where the fuck is this place? I can't find it. It'd be crazy if there was a place.
It's so defunct, they took down the webpage.
I guess. Guess it's not there anymore. Shit.
Incredible.
Oh, God. So, in his real life, I don't know what the fuck his childhood was like.
Wow.
It was like he grew up in the Czech Republic, in Czechoslovakia, he played hockey.
I'm sticking with the made-up story.
It sounds really believable.
It's believable as shit.
You know what? He should just adopt that as his origin story. It really is. So, May 30th, 1971, in reality, everything else is real from now on, I promise. In reality, he has a son on May 30th, 1971. And what do you think he names him?
Yuri.
Yuru? No, it's Yuru. Yes, it's little Yuru, after his brother.
Right.
It's Yuri Bubla Jr. Okay. You know it. He juniors him up right away. So,
old baby boobs.
Yeah, absolutely. Later on, he won't really see his father that much.
It hurt so bad I had to cough.
I'm sorry. I had to. He hardly sees his father, the son. Yuri doesn't really see his son that much. He's not, I guess him and the kid's mother don't stay together.
Oh?
So he doesn't see him.
That's tough stuff.
The mother remarries.
Oh?
And so he's got a stepfather. We'll talk about that later. The
son. The junior.
The junior has a stepfather. Yeah.
That's wild.
Junior stepdad, yeah.
This kid used to matter to somebody a lot. He had so much fucking promise, and he was so proud of him, and then he's not around.
Named him after him,
right.
And then he's like, never mind. Don't need him anymore.
Do it again.
Well, he ends up having more kids.
Okay.
In 1974, he gets married to a woman named Ivana.
Yeah.
And he has 2 sons there. And all he'll talk about later on is like my two sons. But it's like, you have 3 sons, dude.
How about my 3?
One of them's named after you.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? He has Jan Bubla and Stefan Bubla are his sons. So he plays a lot of international hockey, that's why the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia would be would be sponsoring you to play hockey so you can play international. 1972, Czechoslovakia wins the gold medal at the World Championships.
Really?
So that's not bad at all. He plays on the 1976 Poland team.
Okay.
Also, I think they just move them around to wherever they want them to be. They win a gold. 1977 with Austria.
Yeah.
He's just getting moved all around. He wins a gold as well.
Okay.
So I don't know how the hell you're allowed to play for 3 different international teams.
That's fascinating.
In world championships? Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but he also wins silver medals with the 1971 Switzerland team.
Okay.
The 1974 Finland team.
Okay.
The 1975 West German team.
Jesus.
Which is strange. 1978 Czechoslovakian team, and then the 1979 USSR team. He won a silver, and then a bronze with the 1973 USSR team.
Do they make you a citizen of every country to be able to play for them? What is that?
Well, West Germany was the non-communist side. Yeah. So how the fuck do you play for West Germany in between playing for Russia twice?
Right.
I don't know how that works.
It's bizarre.
That's a very...
It's precarious at best.
How does that work? Like, I don't know the rules of international world championship hockey in the 1970s.
I imagine. I mean, USSR sounds. I don't know anything about it, but it sounds very strict about. That pride is matter of fact.
Yeah,
like for sure. And if you got to denounce it to go to Germany and then apologize to come back.
Yeah, I don't think because Finland. He played for USSR and then Finland 2 years in a row. Like weird. 1 year he plays for USSR, next year he plays for Finland. It's just strange. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. It's very weird. But he plays there in addition to playing with a team in Litvinov. Yeah. Here, TJCHV Litvinov. Okay. In the Czech league. He's there playing from 67, so from the time he's 17 he's playing here. Yeah. So he's a right away. He plays 3 games for them that year. 68, 69 he plays in 36 games, has 4 goals, 5 assists. He's a defenseman, mind you, so the goal totals aren't going to be the...
Yeah, that's not why he's there.
No, a lot of guys, though, that I notice where they're like, they'll be big goal scorers, and then when they get to a higher league, like the NHL or something, they're not goal scorers anymore. Like their skills don't translate to that. Now they're defensemen. Okay. It's weird. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's a minor leaguer can't hit the curveball, when he gets up to the big leagues. He can't hit the slider. I'm not sure what it is, but
interesting.
The defense is tougher, I'm sure. I'm not sure, but 69, 70, he doesn't play. I think he had an injury. Okay. He has bad knees his whole career. Yeah. That's one thing that keeps coming up and shortens his career significantly.
That will fuck your life.
No, especially if you're playing hockey.
Any sort of athletics. Jesus Christ, your knees are so important.
Hockey, though, up on those skates and the way you have to move your knees, I mean, if they're hurting, you're always bent, too. Right. Like, that would kill. Oh, my God. That'd be the worst. I remember my friend's mother yelling at him, bend your knees from the stand. So that's a very important thing to do. 70, 71, he plays in 36 games, has 3 goals, 9 assists. Yeah. 71, 72, 5 goals, 9 assists. So a lot of 9 assist years. Next year, 72, 73, 3 goals, 9 assists. Yeah. And then he has 9 goals, 8 assists. And then 74, 75, 5 goals, 20 assists. Oh. Getting some stick handling down here. 75, 76, 11 goals, 18 assists.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, once he got into his 20s, he really started to
figure it out,
to blossom. Yeah, I mean, physically, you're going to be better and everything like that. 76, 77, 9 goals, 28 assists. 77, 78, 21 goals, 35 assists.
Oh, my.
So... That's something. That's a lot.
Perhaps there's more minutes combined with that, too.
Yeah, and also 49 penalty minutes as well, because I think they start counting them then.
Sure.
78, 79, 12 goals, 25 assists, and 30 penalty minutes. And then 79, 80, he only plays in 17 games. I think he had knee problems that year and ends up with 5 goals, 11 assists. Oh, because he played on 2 different teams. He also played on, what the fuck is that? TJ Sparta, and then CHD, and the C has a little like a little bird over it. Looks like if you drew a little V bird. Praha. I don't know what that means. I don't know.
Those letters with shit over them. I'm never going to figure that out.
You ever look at like just Russian writing?
Yeah.
You're like, what the
It's
fuck?
confusing.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
There doesn't like I get that, everybody has their own language, but like when you look at like the English alphabet, even I guess the letters look like they're the same size, and like they're like whatever. The Russian letters, one's like a wide block, and then the other one's like a thing, and it looks like a drawing. They're very. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And obviously that's our ignorance.
Right.
We don't fucking know. I'm
Arabic
sure it
scares me even more because it looks like just a bunch of W's connected.
You have to be a calligrapher to write in Arabic.
Truly.
That shit,
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Whenever I see anything,
fucking
I'm like,
gorgeous.
it's gorgeous. What is that, art? It's like, no, that's a legal document.
Right.
How wow. That's gorgeous. How do you guys do that, man?
It's unbelievable.
You must be a calligrapher.
Looks like a bunch of W's, like cursive W's with dots.
That's all it looks like.
I
Dots
see.
and things
Yeah.
and shit.
And then a
over
lowercase
it.
J.
Yeah,
of I's.
backwards letters. Where you're
I
like,
don't know.
what does that backwards
Pretty
be?
amazing.
How does that work exactly?
How do you pronounce that?
I don't know.
I can't do it.
They just read it off.
Yeah.
'Cause I guess they know what they're doing.
Generally.
Generally. So May 28th, 1981.
Yeah.
So we've seen him progress more and more and more. And at this point, he's 30 years old, too.
Okay.
So this is like 30, this is 31.
Waning career.
Yeah, you would imagine. But he is claimed in a special Czechoslovakian entry draft by the Colorado franchise at the time. So it's two different Czech players, a guy that he knows and him, get taken by this NHL draft.
The Avalanche.
Yeah, at the time, no. At the time, it was the Rockies. Colorado Rockies at the time.
They called themselves the Rockies for a minute?
Yeah, and then the Winnipeg. Well, that Colorado Avalanche is the Quebec Nordiques, isn't it?
I don't know.
I believe after this has folded, I believe the Quebec Nordiques went to Colorado to become the Avalanche, if I'm not mistaken.
That could be a thing.
Early 90s, I want to say.
I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
Patrick Waugh was a Quebec guy, and then he was Colorado.
And
so
he was the best.
I think that was the.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I'm like,
we know
that
much.
Roy guy, and everybody's like, "Shut up, stupid.
You're dumb. You uncultured shitbag."
Start paying attention if you want to watch this.
Okay, never mind.
They've said his name 12 times.
You just thought they were.
Yeah, it's like why?
Somebody was having a stroke.
Do they mean Roy?
Roy. So they draft these guys, but these guys basically say, we'll only sign if we can play together.
Okay.
And he's drafted by, the other guy, Hlinka, is drafted by Winnipeg, and then Colorado selects Boobs over here. Okay. So, Boobsy.
Yeah.
So
and Winnipeg is the Coyotes. The Jets came here,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the Jets and Rockies accuse, basically Vancouver comes in and tries to steal them both, the Canucks.
Yeah.
So the Jets and Rockies accuse the Canucks of tampering and threaten legal action. So then the league ends up imposing a $20,000 a day fine on the Canucks until they turn over the players, because basically they took the players in and let them practice with them and shit.
Wow.
So they had to like hand over the players, and they were getting fined for kidnapping hockey players.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Czechoslovakian hockey players. But Vancouver management said they wouldn't. They said they were in the right and they'd sue right back and all this sort of shit. So Hlinka and Bubla also made it clear that they would only play if they could play for the same team. They're like, we don't want to come here and have nobody speak our language and not know. We need to be on the same team.
Make us comfortable.
Exactly. So a compromise ends up being reached here, where the Canucks.
Do they both have to fight bears?
They both have to. Whoever can kill a bear with a stick first gets to choose his team, and then the other guy has to go there. That's how it works. So the Canucks gain the rights to these players by sending Brett Ashton to Colorado, and then the Rockies relinquished a guy named Lucien DeBlois to Winnipeg. And they exchanged draft choices and basically made it even.
Okay.
So they did one of those deals where they all did that. But it was a very big deal. While it was going on, there was this whole big thing. What was this guy? They said, quote, this could have very bad implications with the Czech hockey officials if the NHL doesn't allow us to use the players. He says, this is the Canucks, saying this is going to be a bombshell to the league. So the Czechoslovakian Ice Hockey Federation, which is a thing,
right?
Sounds like they wrestle.
Yeah, it does.
There's belts involved in that.
And bears.
You have to fight a bear for the belt. That's how it works. That's how you prove you're
That's
tough
the
Czech.
boss stage.
That's the boss stage, a fucking bear. So they basically said that they declared Hlinka and Boobs as free agents, and that the federation wasn't bound to an alleged agreement with the NHL. So we can promise them to people and then pull them back and promise them to other people because they're our players, so we can do whatever we want.
Ridiculous.
It's fucking weird. It's so weird. So the NHL president here said that they had an agreement with the Czech Federation that permits the league to sign 4 veterans every year. In return, the NHL prohibits any future Czech defector from playing in the league for 18 months. So that's how shitty the NHL is. The NHL made a fucking deal to not let communist fucking defectors play if they could get a pipeline to a few players a year. They made a fucking deal.
Wow.
People are trying to escape horrible situations, and they were like, we won't let them. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They won't be able to play in our league for 18 months, so they won't run away. They'll only be able to do it through you, which is really
That's
fucking scummy.
Yeah.
That is beyond silver,
Somebody
man.
can escape the country with their children and make their life safer.
Yeah.
But they're
And
not,
better and more prosperous.
their talent for hockey isn't good enough for you.
Yeah, they're like, nah, we made a deal with the communists instead. Thanks, assholes.
You're not good enough for this.
Dude, that's fucked up, man.
is.
Fuck the NHL. They're assholes, man. They said here, this is the Canucks guy. I got a telex from the Czechs last Tuesday morning informing me they had no agreement with the NHL and that all 4 players were free to go wherever they liked. I immediately sent Jack Gordon, who's the Vancouver's assistant general manager, to Prague, and we actually signed both players last Friday. If the NHL say we can't have these players and that there's no agreement, something is wrong, we'll fight them in court if we have to. Without an agreement, the Czech players are free agents just like the Swedes and Finns because, they don't have an agreement because it's not some weird communist pipeline. Why should they be treated differently? The Czech officials are adamant that Hlinka and Bubla will play for us. If the NHL doesn't honor our contracts with them, the Czechs could pull out of the Canada Cup tournament over this. So basically, they're both 31 years old, too, which is, I guess they're both in their prime for hockey, I suppose, but you're going to be, the other side's coming soon.
Very quick. Yeah.
Very quick.
You got a short window to capitalize on this.
Fuck yeah, man. I mean, you can't play hockey till you're 60.
No.
I mean, a couple guys do.
It's rare.
But it's rare.
Yeah.
I mean, some guys play quarterback till they're 45, too. So
that takes drugs usually.
Yeah. Remember Vince Evans?
Yes.
Remember that guy, the Raiders backup?
Yes.
Back in the day. He was
remember
a black guy.
Yeah.
And he was like their third stringer, and he was like 48 years old. And he just kept playing. They just kept signing him. It was awesome.
Because he's played like 12 minutes his whole career.
Oh, he was fresh. His legs are fresh. The only time he started was in like the USFL.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad here. So
his tendons are going to harden before his career's up.
Yeah, you know it. Fucking ridiculous, man. So the Canucks here, they negotiated everything. They got a 2-year contracts to both of them in April, and that caused that was the big kerfluffle. They just gave them each 2-year contracts. So they finally they make a deal and all this shit, and Boobs says, quote, we'll be on the ice Monday and begin training for 4 hours a day with our old club, which is Litvinov. Litvinov, yes. Needless to say, when we found out we were coming to Vancouver, we were very, very happy. I've been in touch every day with Ivan since we heard the good news. That's the other player. The Canucks sent a telegram to our national sports organization. It's, they have one ESPN, and it's the state-run thing. And they told us the disagreement was over. It's quite a relief. For the last 2 or 3 months, we've been living in uncertainty. They didn't know where the fuck they were going to go here, which is understandable here.
Sure.
So, they negotiated 2-year contracts, and they're in. So 81-82, he's on the Vancouver Canucks. And you want to hear some guys on the roster
I sure do.
that you won't know? Per Olav Bressar.
Yep.
There's a guy for you. Garth Butcher, which is the greatest hockey name I've ever heard in my life. Garth Butcher. And he's a defenseman.
Sounds like he's made up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got 0 goals, 0 assists.
Yeah.
So there you go.
He doesn't exist.
Garth Butcher. That's a great name, man. Holy shit.
He was jacked about his name until Garth Brooks made the word Garth awful.
Yeah. Before that, he's like, I'm Garth Butcher.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's going to take you apart. Then we have a couple of guys named Anders, which is very popular with the Northern Europeans there. Guys like that. Ivan Helinka, who's his countryman there. Also Rick Lans, who's also a Czech.
Okay.
He's a defenseman as well. So guys like that we've never heard of. Harold Snepsitz.
How'd they do?
They got a guy named Tiger on their team.
Hell yeah.
Tiger Williams. It's a Tiger Woods impersonator.
Yeah.
Well, they went all the way to the playoffs. Their record was 30, 33, and 17.
And that'll get you in the playoffs.
In the NHL, yeah, because there was
Jesus.
At that point, I want to say there was 20 teams and 16 of them made the playoffs or some crazy shit. So it's like hockey and basketball, way too many teams make the playoffs.
That is some embarrassing numbers.
That is not great. But they were second in their division with those numbers.
Wow.
Their coach also got fired at some point in the year. I don't know how that happened.
I do. 30 wins. That's
how. Well, they went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They sweep the Flames in the first round, 3-0. They beat the Kings 4-1 in the second round.
Wow.
And then the third round, the conference finals, they beat the Blackhawks 4-1 to go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Being a sub 500 team.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy. But at that point, they ran into a dynasty in the New York Islanders who won, I want to say, 4 or maybe 5 in a row.
Jesus.
So I think maybe 5. That's a shitload of championships. So they were just a dynasty.
Nobody's done that in any other sport ever.
No, maybe what?
5?
The Celtics in the 60s, maybe. UCLA in college. People like that.
You got to dig down to college to find that.
Yeah. You got to dig down to basketball, too, where you can have a couple dominant players and win over every year.
Nobody else can keep up.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wild.
These guys, I don't know any of them. But anyway, he plays in 23 games. Okay. He's 32 years old, so it's not like that's an old rookie.
Yeah.
He 23 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, and 16 penalty minutes. So that was just the first year. They're getting his feet wet.
Yeah.
82-83, though, they're 30, 35, and 15.
Okay.
This is when there was a shitload of ties in hockey before shootouts and all that shit.
I'm so glad they made that rule change because
the shootout's dumb, though.
Yeah.
There should be no tie, but the shootout's stupid.
At least they found a solution, but it's not a great solution.
To have all those guys play a hockey game for all that long and then have it come down to this stupid shit. It's like, well, why did we play all that then?
Right.
What the fuck
why don't we
doing?
just do shootouts every day?
Yeah, that's it. But you need to have a solution. You can't be 30, 35, and 15. That's too many fucking ties.
15 ties. Oh, my God.
Just for marketing purposes, when you go to the game, you don't want to come out with, it was a good tie tonight. That's not exciting.
It's nice to come here, spend all this money, and watch 2 teams score 2 goals.
That's it.
Oh, my. Finished 2-2. Fuck my life.
Well, yeah, the goals for this year, 303, goals against 309. So a lot of 2-2s, a lot of 3-3s. So they go to the playoffs anyway, and this time they lose to the Calgary Flames 3-1 that year. Boobsy here gets in some fights this year, though.
Yeah.
He's throwing down. He fights one guy twice on separate occasions. One day, though, he fights 2 different guys.
Really?
It's February 20th, 1983. He fights Dave Taylor of the LA Kings. And obviously, that's who they're playing. And in the second period. And then in the third period, he fights D. Hopkins, who I don't know who that is. And then he fights Taylor again in March 27th. He fights him again, almost the exact same time in the game and everything when he fought him the first time. So
what do you want to bet one of the things that they call him to get him angry is tits? I would. That'd be my
What's
go-to.
up, tits?
How you doing, tits?
What's happening, big jugs? That would be great. What's happening, Double D's?
How's your life, Nips?
Come over here, Nips.
I would certainly find every word that I could for boobs and call him that.
I wonder if a foreigner would be as offended.
He'd figure it out. You'd only have to be in America for 2 weeks to figure out all the slang words for tits.
It's all of them, pretty much, all the words. They're all slang for tit in some way.
We'll figure it out one way or another. Those things are amazing.
So this year he has 72 games played. So a lot more. 2 goals, 28 assists.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. I'm sorry, 2 goals, 28 assists, 30 points total, 59 penalty minutes, obviously, because we brought up his fights there. So not bad, though. He's coming around. He is 33, so, I mean, at some point you're going to – it's time to blossom now.
Yeah.
So his personality is not that – he's just not a boisterous guy. He's
he's a Russian that isn't real mellow. Is that
very
kind of that?
Quiet.
Yeah.
Considered real low key.
That's scary.
They said he had no close friends in Vancouver except for Ivan Hlinka. Is the only guy.
Even in his personal life,
nothing. That's the only guy
he keeps it mellow there too.
The only person he hung out with. He keeps very private to himself. Very, very weird. People said that he was a quiet guy, he was cordial, he was friendly. He'd say, how you doing today? But he wouldn't sit down and have a long conversation with you or party with you or anything.
He's you.
Kind of, yeah, a little bit.
You love him.
Except I'll talk to you if I know you.
That's true.
Whereas I don't think he has a lot of those going on here. So they said that everyone just said that he seemed real devoted to his 2 sons, ages 10 and 7.
Jesus Christ.
Never mind the other one who is fucking 14.
The apple of your eye 14 years ago.
Didn't even mention that one there. Here's a guy, Bob McCusker, who's a Canucks left winger. He says, quote, he was from the 60s, too. He said, the only thing he ever talked about when we went out for a few beers after our hockey games was hockey and his 2 boys.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. Oh, my God. Also, he'll end up playing in 86 until 87. Bubla will play in an old-timers league after he retires as well. So he's really into this now. 83-84 Vancouver. They go 32-39-9. Finished 3rd in their division.
Yeah.
Again, 2 different coaches. So there's all sorts of very unstable here. Now they go to the semifinals. They lose to the Flames 3-1. So it's every year. He this year plays in 62 games, 6 goals, 33 assists.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
39 points, 43 penalty minutes. Not too shabby, I got to say. Not terrible. He also gets in a fight with L. Dubois.
Is there an L in there?
Yeah. It's DEBLOIS.
Oh, that's Dubois for sure.
I guess so.
That is a gross name.
That's a tough one. Hello, Dubois. Maybe that's how they got in a fight. He called him Boobs and he called him Dubois.
He calls him Tits and he calls him Yuck. And then they fight. Calls him Ralph and then they fight. This was in the second period at a minute 24 seconds. They went at it on March 28th, 84. So 84-85, Vancouver here. They're 25-46-9. So sliding again. 2 coaches. Yeah. How about stick with 1 coach for a couple of years? Yeah. Maybe they can get the team back on the track. Well, you can't replace a guy, give him half a season, and then replace him halfway in the next season. That makes no sense. It just doesn't. So they finish there. They do not make the playoffs that year at all. So that's tough to do in hockey, and they pull it off. So 56 games Jiri plays in, 2 goals, 15 assists, 54 penalty minutes. So he's also 35 now, which is it's not good
downside of a hockey career. 85-86 Vancouver. They go, at least they stuck with 1 coach, but it doesn't work very well. 23-44-13.
Okay.
Yikes. Not very good. 4th in their division. And this year, no playoffs. Jiri plays in 43 games, so his games are decreasing every year.
Yeah.
72, 62, 56, 43.
Eesh.
Last 4 years. 6 goals, which ties his career high. 24 assists, so he's productive.
Yeah.
30 points, 30 penalty minutes as well. He likes to balance those out.
He's contributing.
It's good stuff here. But he retires after the 86 season.
Done deal.
He's got knee problems, and he's going on. It's going to be 37 the next year.
Yeah, that's not. Wow, I'm stunned that a man
spring chicken
get into a career that late.
Yeah.
I hope he made money.
One thing though, when you get a guy like that, there's no learning. He's 31, so you expect to throw him in and he's going to be a pro right away. He's not going to need a couple of years to warm up like a kid would. I guess that's the only advantage of it.
Yeah.
But
that's a short career. But I mean, the average NFL career is 4 years. 4 years. But I mean, And people are blown away by that because Tom Brady's played for fucking 30.
Yeah, but you're not allowed. They've made rules so you can't touch him.
Right.
They don't make rules so you can't touch a running back.
But you gotta.
They don't care.
You gotta weigh in also the guy that the guys on the line are the ones that have the short careers, and those are that's 70% of the fucking people on the field.
They're the guys a lot of times have the longest careers.
Really?
Offensive linemen played till fucking they're 40 years old.
No, I mean just linemen in general, both sides.
Defensive
They're
linemen
just beating the shit out of each other.
Size-wise, though, you can keep playing and keep playing. They do that. The guys that have the short careers are your like punt returner, kick returner, special teamer, fast little guy who can be replaced.
Right.
He runs a 4.3 40, so they plugged him in one year, but then this guy has this much better skills, so they cut him.
And it's just a receiver, or a running back, or a safety, or whatever. But those guys they fucking fly in and out.
Absolutely.
And linemen lose fucking legs every year have to quit because somebody rolled on one.
Absolutely. You get a lot of injured linemen like that with fucking
tons.
300-pound guys with leg problems.
But people are like, it's not a short career. I see guys playing forever. Yeah, but there's so few.
Yeah, and the guy made and you're like, well, he made $1 million. It's like, okay, well, he's 24.
Right.
Now what? He's 24 and he limps now.
Right.
So now what happens?
You make $180,000 a year. That's 8 years. You're going to make $1 million, and that's in 8 years. See if you have a dime of that shit left.
Well, not only that, especially if you have to pay your fucking agent and all this other shit.
Taxes of that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You buy a house and a car, and now you're broke.
Now you're broke, and everyone's like, look at he was buying a house. What an asshole. He wanted a place to live like a fucking... Who does he think he is? It's fucking crazy.
And then he has property taxes to pay and license plates to put on that car and insurance to put on both of them.
And then everybody else you're taking care of and helping, too, because you made
money is fleeting.
It's tough.
As fuck.
It's real tough. So his total in his career here, he played in 256 games, 17 goals, 101 assists.
Yeah.
So not too bad. He makes about $100,000 a year.
Oh, boy.
Which... in the 80s is very good. It's
doing all right,
not bad now, too. But I mean, as for an athlete, obviously now they'd be like $100,000. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, that was a pretty good salary for an athlete, especially for a hockey player. Not too bad. Not Wayne Gretzky or anything, but decent. So he retires after that season. He plays a little bit of the old timer league hockey, like we said, which is there should be You can't just play in the NHL one day and then be in the old timers league the next. That seems unfair, right? You should have to take a year off to get some rust on you and have your joints seize up again.
Be an old timer.
Yeah, it seems like you're just still in NHL shape. That's not fair. So after that, he as of April of 2000 April of 1987. He quits playing that as well.
Done.
Grace.
Oh, my.
Here. And we'll tell you why. It's not his choice to quit. He's also working for Vancouver as kind of an international scout and kind of they hired him as a kind of a pipeline into Eastern Europe, I think is what it was here. You're going to go over and talk to all the Czech guys who look up to you.
Right. They hired a translator.
Exactly.
Right.
So he was doing that, but he also had businesses on the side.
Oh.
And anything you'd ask him after he retired from hockey in 86, after the spring of 86, he would say, quote, I'm importing and exporting.
Yeah.
That was what he would say. He'd say sometimes it was fruits and vegetables from Spain. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it was Austrian crystal that he was moving around.
Yeah.
So importer, exporter, which I don't know how you fucking do that or how that's a job, but... I mean, George Costanza faked it all the time. Art Vandelay was an importer-exporter for a minute there when she talked to Elaine, when he's lying to Susan about Elaine's boyfriend. So he's an importer-exporter, so it happens. So the reason why this becomes an issue and the reason why he stops playing hockey totally is April 17th, 1987. He is at the airport in Austria.
Yeah.
Okay. He's on his way through the, immigration, whatever, passport control they called it at the time. Customs. To enter Austria because he's there for the World Hockey Championships.
Yeah.
And he's scouting for the Canucks there, basically. So he's waiting in line. And as he's waiting in line, Austrian immigration officials pull him aside.
Yeah.
Okay. And they want to have a little chat with him. And he said, quote, this is Yuri's quote here, "At first I thought something was wrong, that some mistake had been made." He said, "But when police told me the situation, I knew it was, I told them it was a mistake. I told them I knew about the operation, but that I didn't do this."
Uh-oh.
So he's got some international issues at this point here.
Not a knee operation.
No, it's actually an operation because he's charged with participating in an international heroin smuggling ring. Which is just out of character as fuck for this guy.
Yeah.
He's just a very, quiet, studious guy. It's like, just going to go home and hang out with my kids and smuggle heroin, I guess.
Or the perfect one.
Exactly. That's the thing. A guy from the vice president of Vienna's regional court for criminal cases told the Associated Press that Bubla was detained here. They said that him and another man were both detained. Neither of them have been arraigned yet. They can hold suspects in Austria under Austrian law for up to a year without formal charges. Without charging you, they can hold you for up to a year back then. So,
what a rule.
That's a long time.
It really is.
Here it's like 3 days or 48 hours.
Yeah,
I think it's 48
I think
hours.
It's 48. Yeah.
That's you got to charge somebody.
Right.
Yeah, they got to be able to go to court
Yeah.
and something, plead, bail, something, be denied
You
it.
got to be told somebody that there's a reason that they're here.
A judge has to decide you should stay here, basically,
Right.
after 2 days. So here it's not like that, basically.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Interpol and Vienna police officials declined further comment, but they said, a quote, "Apparently there are certain things involved in this case that the Austrian police had hoped to keep quiet pending completion of their investigation," is what an embassy official said. Because once this happens, anybody else in the ring is going to obviously change up what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you're going to fuck it all up. So authorities here in this whole thing, they confiscate in one of the raids they do 4 pounds of heroin, 2 Mercedes-Benz, $50,000 in cash, 5 passbooks for savings accounts, each containing about $45,000 each.
Okay.
So this is,
That's $200,000.
cash, drugs, cars. This is what you do.
4 pounds is it?
4 pounds, but I think 4 pounds of heroin internationally smuggling.
Oh, that's a big deal.
That's just what they raided and found,
Okay,
though. They
yeah.
have
There's some more, yeah.
Exactly. Police said the ring, which included Austrians, Canadians, Poles, Israelis, everybody, shipped heroin into Austria and then on to Canada. They allegedly distributed, that they know of, at least 74 pounds of heroin between 81 and 86.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
They did it very creatively, too. Mm-hmm. It was shipped in coffee packages, jam tins, so like things of jelly,
right,
and disguised as the famous Austrian chocolate Mozart Kugeln.
Oh, no.
So they were like packaging it
Austrian Snickers.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's basically, it's like Up in Smoke with Cheech and Chong when they were talking about a fiber weed.
Right.
You could spray it and make a. I remember as a teenager, I was like, is that true? Can you fucking do that? I'll smoke a truck.
I'll bet they can now.
I'll smoke a truck right motherfucking now. You could probably go to a dispensary here in Phoenix and just get a truck to smoke, I would assume now that it's legal.
I'll take an ice cream truck, please.
I'll smoke an ice cream truck, Jimmy. I'm not saying I won't. So this obviously is
unbelievable.
It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, now this isn't made up either. This isn't like the Bears. This is just a quiet guy who doesn't do drugs, is not involved with any illegal things, doesn't know any people. This isn't people from his old neighborhood or anything like that.
Right.
It's just some guy who
realized that junkies make you a lot of money.
Decided when he was 37 or whatever to do this. He's like, what is it? Is it Joe Profaci, I think, the mob boss who he ran a legitimate business.
Really?
He was the biggest olive oil guy in the country.
Yeah.
Legitimately did all this legitimate business. But during Prohibition, he said, I can make way fucking more money on booze than I can in my legitimate business. So he literally, he was a millionaire and he opted out of legitimate millionaire life to be a gangster to make more money.
Makes all the sense to me.
It's very rare that people do that, though.
If you have all that money, sure, you're doing fine and it's great to do it all legitimately. But if you have all that money and you realize that I have a shit, like somebody starting out bootlegging isn't going to make as much money as I could make with all of this.
That's the thing.
That's brilliant.
He's got an organization
Genius.
already. He had trucks. He had all this shit. So he was like,
it's genius.
Why don't I start doing it? And he started making a lot of money.
I don't know if it's genius. It just seems like common sense.
Yeah. If you don't care about
freedom,
prison and stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and everybody with Prohibition, though, it was considered,
you're an idiot if you're not.
Yeah, it was like weed a few years ago. It's like, what are you going to get someone in trouble for that? That's stupid. For what? What are we talking about here? So this is all pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's amazing, but not, Jimmy, as amazing as the sales.
What year?
My God.
88,
87.
Hell yeah.
Oh, the sales. Oh, baby. Check this out. I'll turn this monitor towards you.
Hell yeah.
This is a 250-watt full remote control stereo system with dual cassette player. Your basic living room stereo.
So big.
$2,000 for this thing. $2,000.
2087 money.
Yeah. It's like $6,000. You could buy a fucking car for that then. Power amplifier, control amplifier, graphic equalizer, synthesizer tuner, big deal, those little knobs.
Right.
Dual cassette, okay, every fucking boombox had that.
doesn't have that?
Compact disc player, which was actually hot shit at the time.
Yeah.
Linear tracking turntable, so we're talking turntable, cassette deck.
Everything.
CD.
Every possible way to play a song, we got you covered.
We got it. 3-way tower speakers and matching audio stand. Remember the ones that came in a cabinet?
Old console.
All these components. With this is your basic $2,000.
Wow.
That is wild, man.
That shit's coming back in a big way now, too.
Yeah.
People are paying big money for fucking huge subs and
big
amps and all
home
kinds
systems.
That's crazy.
I wonder if that'll be the same like after now that people will go back out again once kind of COVID subsides.
Wait, I can go rent this for $20 to watch a movie?
I can go places and hear music loud. Or maybe they'll realize that fucking why was I going out wasting money?
It is gross.
Yeah. So then I found at the Multi-Tech Warehouse Direct Center here.
Oh, yeah.
This is some pricey shit. 28-inch remote control Diamond Vision television.
28.
$1,399.
$1,399.
28-inch TV. You could get an 85-inch TV for that price now.
For half of that. If a kid at Walmart told me that's what a 20, I'd punch that kid square in the face.
And
why are you selling the Waltons shit like this?
It's ridiculous. And that's with mono sound, with stereo sound. With the same TV stereo sound, $1,699
for one more speaker, $300
for one more speaker to hear, and it's all going to sound like shit anyway. It's all recorded like shit. It's 87,
and the speakers in those TV were not like stereo side by side. They were stereo, two speakers stacked on the right side.
They're 2-inch speakers. They're tiny little fucking things. Here's an Akai wireless remote VCR.
Oh, yeah.
$449. There's a Toshiba one, $599 for a fucking VCR. Holy shit.
And you can't control that if somebody's standing in front of it.
No.
It doesn't go around them.
Here's one. Zenith 29-inch digital TV, Bose sound. $2,299. Wow. It's 29 inches.
It's got those Bose speakers, babe.
It's a small little thing. And then I found a Mitsubishi VCR that is $799
Oh my
for a
God.
fucking VCR.
Wow.
Which is shocking. Let's say, you know what?
That's what the movie studios did, by the way. They wanted all those things to be unbelievably priced because they wanted you seeing that shit in the theater. They didn't want you seeing it at home.
Well, I was watching this thing that basically what they were doing, they were basically like, okay, the way they would charge for tapes is they would think of it like how many people are going to see it.
Right.
This is the price of admission.
Right.
So like $100, they would be like, okay, if
that
it was
seems reasonable.
$8, if they watched it this many times, that's reasonable. But people
that's
are like,
crazy.
$100 to watch a fucking movie.
For a VHS tape, $100.
Which, I mean, from the studio's point of view, they looked at it as if you went to the movies to see it and you took 20 people, it would cost you way more than that. This you can watch as much as you want. So I get it, but no.
On a 27-inch TV at my fucking house with stereo sound? No.
They talk about the last Blockbuster documentary.
I watched that.
Yeah, they talk about that a lot, like the history of how VHSs came into being. And
it's fascinating.
Yeah, they absolutely didn't think it was going to go the way it went. And then when somebody started renting them, they sued them.
Right.
The studio sued the guy for renting them.
Lost.
They lost. Yeah, they found out if you pay $100, you can fucking do whatever you want with the goddamn thing. Literally. So it was some law from some other thing that was a rental thing from years before that I think it was a car thing or something. If you bought a car, you don't have to kick back to the fucking car dealership if you rent it out. So also, let's say you can't afford all of that. So you're just going to go out for a nice low-priced meal. Go on down to Ambrogio's. This is in Vancouver, by the way.
Italian, French food.
With oyster shrimp bar, which sounds good. I want that.
I don't want a bar of it.
And dinner for two is $13.95.
Oh, wow.
You get veal Milanese, cooked in lemon butter, includes salad, side of pasta, bread, and butter.
Deal. And butter.
13, just bread. We're sorry. We can't get, the butter's an extra $5.
Yeah.
It's very, very, wow.
That's a pretty good deal.
That's not bad at all. Also, maybe I had to show you this one, if you want to go out to dinner, you can go getting food from this man.
Steak and baby. What the fuck is that guy doing? He is posed out. Like, why are you making yourself sexy?
He's
sir?
got lobster legs on. He's got claws on the end of his legs and a chef. Okay, he's got a chef from the waist up. He's a chef.
He's Chef Boyardee.
Apron, top hat, the whole deal. And he's laying there on his side like, oh, golly, these lobster legs don't let me walk. And he's got legs on that are
Chef Lobster RD.
Lobsters. You can get steak and baby lobsters, which I never heard that as being a thing you want.
Are baby lobsters like baby cows? Are they more tender?
I've never heard of baby. Oh, good. You got baby lobsters. Great. I've never heard that before.
That seems just mean.
I would say, yeah, we're going to eat them. Flavorful sirloin steak flavorful sirloin steak broiled to order, and then 3 baby lobsters steamed to perfection. Plus vegetables and your choice of rice, French fries, or baked potato, spelled incorrectly, by the way, potato with an E.
Way to go, Dan Quayle.
Perfect, you fucking idiot, you dumb shit.
Dan Quayle.
Dan Quayle.
Marketing agent.
$13.99 there.
With an E.
With an E.
Nobody read that and was like, man, we can't do this.
Nope, British Columbia, they didn't give a fuck.
That ran by several people, and they were like, print it.
This is the Sea Gallery, or the Sea Galley.
Okay.
Seafood and prime rib.
Gross.
And let's say you go out to a movie, or you go out to dinner, and so afterwards, what are you going to do? You going to go right home?
No, man.
You couldn't afford all those VCRs and TVs, so you got to go out to a movie.
Yep.
What's playing now? First up, Beverly Hills Cop 2.
All right.
In action, which I just watched that recently because I've been watching the old Eddie Murphy movies are fun. So 2 is not very good.
No, it's not.
It's really not. It's all.
But the police chief is still in the second one.
Oh, yeah, he's still in. But
that guy's an asshole.
He gets, Gil.
What a piece
Gil
of shit.
Hill. Yeah, he had some issues. He's a real police officer.
Right.
And,
real bad guy.
had some problems, but he's a great fucking...
Unbelievable
He plays that
hard-ass.
role perfectly with your little narrow ass.
Yeah. Bring your narrow ass in here.
It's just funny as shit. Harry and the Hendersons is playing, everybody. This is good stuff here. Steel Justice.
Don't remember it.
Steel with an E on the end. So
Who was
it must
it?
be a name. I don't know.
Was it? Oh. Why do I
Steel Justice?
I feel like I know who it is. It's like an action movie.
Sounds like it.
Is it fucking Stallone?
I don't know if it's. I don't doubt it's Stallone, because Stallone in '87 he was doing
Rambo.
He did Rocky IV the year before. He did Over the Top in '87. He did.
Wasn't Rambo then?
Rambo probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I don't fucking remember. 2 was.
He
in
wouldn't
like
have given a shit about this, right?
I don't know.
But I feel
man.
like he was in a movie with Steel in the title.
Maybe. Maybe you're just thinking of Over the Top because he's got a truck. A lot of rolling steel. The Chipmunk Adventures playing.
What?
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, but I don't remember that.
I do remember that, actually.
That movie?
Yeah. Because then they had like an album.
It was animated, right?
Oh, yeah. That's
it wasn't live action.
Just a cartoon.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was just a cartoon. Rated G. Okay. Lethal Weapon, the fucking original, which is one of the better action movies of all time.
Long before we found out he's a piece of shit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So good.
And Danny Glover's great, too. But
what an actor.
Absolutely. That year, because you had that and Die Hard in the same year, they completely recreated action movies.
They really did.
You had to be kind of funny.
There had to be snark.
It had to be a wink and a nod.
Yeah.
It couldn't just be Charles Bronson shooting people anymore. It had to be
not,
like
right. We want to be entertained. We don't want to be scared.
Exactly. After that, we have Raising Arizona's playing.
That was an 87?
Fuck, man. Dude, I want to see, okay, Beverly Hills Cop 2, I'll just watch it because I love Eddie Murphy. I don't care. Harry and the Hendersons is a great fucking movie. Lethal Weapon's a great movie. Raising Arizona is a great movie. There hasn't been a year where 4 decent movies have been released in the last 10 fucking years. These are all in the theater at the same time.
They're unbelievable movies, and I guarantee you none of them were nominated for any Oscars.
I don't think any of these.
None of them.
Raising Arizona for screenplay maybe
Was
or
it?
something? I don't think so.
I don't think so. And those are great fucking movies.
They are. The Untouchables. Is that Costner?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's Costner, 87. I remember that one. It's Elliot Ness and all that shit. Because then, Creep Show 2. Remember Creep Show?
Yes.
Thanks for the ride, lady. That's that one, isn't it? Where a guy.
I think this is the one with the pond where somebody got sucked into the water, and I don't forget.
Oh.
I think that was that one.
I just remember.
I saw this one in the drive-in.
Oh, okay. Perfect. That's perfect.
It was a double feature with, I think, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh. Well, that would have been 85-ish. Maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
Might have been 2.
Or
3 was 87.
Yeah,
that was Dream Warriors. That was 87.
I bet it was.
That was probably what it was then.
It was a great show. One of my favorite nights at the drive-in because I fell asleep and had nightmares in open air. It was incredible.
I'm outside.
Changed my life and made me really understand what fear was at 6 years old.
Fear in an open
I was
car.
horrified.
I don't blame you. Ernest Goes to Camp is playing.
Oh, it's so good.
Good God.
Oh,
Ernest.
with the turtles on the nose. It's so good.
This is great, man. I just want to stay in the movies all day and night and watch all these.
You know, it's very common for somebody to say that the 80s sucked. The late 80s did not suck.
The 80s had some shit.
It was garbage.
Their music is terrible, but the
cars are garbage.
There's some decent movies.
The entertainment.
The comedies in the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s were the comedy time.
Oh,
man.
God, it was so good.
Great comedies. You could, because it was a time of adult comedies.
Yeah.
There was R-rated comedies.
Saturday Night Live is thriving.
I couldn't watch the new Coming to America.
No.
Because I'm like 5 minutes in and I'm like, no one said fuck yet. What's going on? And then I find out, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to say fuck in this movie. Meanwhile, the whole first movie it's an adult comedy.
Right.
It's fuck you too. It's,
I loved it for the
what does
nostalgia.
dumb fuck mean? Yeah, well, it's good for that. Yeah.
And I loved seeing Eddie Murphy as a dad with daughters and shit. That was really cool too.
It just made me want to watch Coming to America, which I did.
It did.
And it was great. It fucking holds up so well. God, we used to. That's like the most quoted movie of my childhood is Coming to America.
I really thought after watching that movie that I was going to see so much more of Arsenio Hall being fantastic.
In a movie.
Yeah.
Rather. Well, you got the show after that.
And it was fine, but they fucking stifled him so much on that show.
It was a big hit, though.
Yeah, it did great. But
for the time, it was like, fuck, it was a hot show. You had all the new people on. It wasn't all farty and old.
Yeah.
I watched that shit every night when I was a kid.
And he changed society, too, with the woo-woo and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know
he did a lot.
He made a mark.
He was culturally relevant as fuck, Arsenio,
really was,
in the early 90s, man.
And then it went away. What happened? Why did we make a joke of him?
I don't know.
He's not a punchline. He's
great.
great.
He just... because he was so there. Remember, like Larry Sanders Show, if you watch that, the early seasons, he's always like talking about Arsenio gets to do that. All the good guests go on Arsenio.
Right.
Like, why can't we do that like Arsenio? It's funny because you're like, wow, that was on the air.
I heard that because Arsenio did an interview. I forgot. Maybe in Stern that I heard it. It doesn't matter. He talked about how Letterman and those guys used to give him guests that they didn't think would fit on their show. And surprise, surprise, all of them were black people. How fucked is that?
They didn't want that shit at late. They didn't want, they wanted, it's like, oh, that's too young. They would say it's too young or too urban or
too
whatever.
Hip.
Yeah. So then
what are we, MTV? That's a sick line. That's disgusting.
Ridiculous. No, it's stupid. What else is playing? Oh, Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox.
Good.
Yes. Fantastic.
So good.
That's a great movie.
It really is.
I mean, terrible, but great because Michael J. Fox is fucking funny.
Michael J. Fox is one of the most talented people on earth.
He's fantastic.
He's so good.
And then finally, one of the biggest bombs in box office history, Ishtar, with Warren Beatty and Dustin Hoffman. Okay. No one did, and it was very expensive with Oscar winners in it, and it didn't go anywhere. Now, if that doesn't suit you, you can go and see Heart in concert.
Oh, great!
Because Heart is going to be there on the Bad Animals tour, 1987, with special guest Mr. Mister.
Oh my God.
That's some 80s shit. This isn't Barracuda Heart. This isn't Magic Man Heart. No. This is Alone. That's that Heart. Different Heart completely than kick-ass rockin'
Mr.
Mister.
Oh, boy.
That's how that went down. And then finally, let's just say you've done all this, but you need to make a phone call at the end. Get yourself a cell phone in 1987.
Holy shit.
The AudioVox BC40 here. As you can see, it's one that looks like a car phone type of thing with the buttons on the outside of it.
On the top.
Features include a 30 phone number memory.
Oh my. Thank God.
Thank fuck for that. This is the beginning of a new age of affordable, reliable mobile communication. Oh boy. And this is without using
just the phone.
Without using a minute.
Right.
Just for the service, $50 a month. Before you use a minute, then it's like $4 a minute.
Oh, boy.
So if you have this phone, hundreds of dollars a month.
Oh, my God.
This phone.
And then you got to buy the phone, too.
Yeah, well, the phone they'll give to you as long as you sign up for a certain amount of service.
Hang on to it.
Yeah, you're good there.
That's for you.
Speedy business lease package, they say you can get. So there's that.
We'll get the money for the phone. Don't worry.
So the sales were shocking.
Yeah.
Now, the reaction to this, everybody is completely blown
stunned.
Away. They don't.
Why is he trafficking?
Maple Leafs defenseman Rick Lons said he was stunned. He said that they played 2 years. They played a couple of years in Vancouver. He said, or a few years. He said, "quote I was his roommate for 5 years. When I first heard he was charged, I was shocked. It's too bad. He has 2 young kids and a nice wife, and he was making a good living. A far cry from what he had in Czechoslovakia."
Okay.
Seems like he's taking a shot at him.
Yeah. Why can't you just be grateful?
Right. So Boobs' wife of 13 years here, Ivana, she says that she knew nothing of the charges. She said, quote, "I just spoke to him last week and he didn't tell me anything." He said, she said her husband was in the import business. He told her he was visiting with friends in Spain when he called her. And then she said, quote, "I'm not very interested in his job because I'm so tired from hockey all these years. That's why I don't ask him what he's doing or where he's going.
I don't care about where it came from.
Nope. I'm quite busy with the children," because they're 6 and 10 at the time. So that makes sense.
Ends are meeting. That's all I care about.
That's it. Ends are meeting like a motherfucker, as Eddie would say. Bubla, here, his wife, Mrs. Boobs, she said that Jiri had phoned her 3 times since leaving for Europe on a business trip, and neither the federal government nor the Royal Canadian Mounted Police had contacted her regarding the arrest.
Yeah.
She says, quote, "Why didn't they tell me? I don't know where the media got the story before I did." That makes sense.
Yeah.
She said she's been told so many different accounts, quote, "It makes me laugh because it's a little much to believe." She said that her husband's name, at this point, she said his name is quite common in Czechoslovakia, so maybe people have the same name and it's a mistake.
Maybe they're looking for somebody else.
Maybe they arrested a different guy at the airport, or maybe they were looking for someone else and arrested him.
Okay.
She said she was worried about the reaction of her sons when they hear the reports. Now, the police in Canada, in Vancouver, where he's from here, they said that they thought it was so inconceivable that even the Vancouver police, who admit they had some tips about it, didn't believe it. Because it was so, even with the tips, they never followed the tips up because they were like, that's fucking crazy. One guy here, an RCMP staff sergeant, his name is LD Smokey Stovern.
Hell yeah.
Of course he's a fucking... His name is Smokey, for Christ's sake, and he wears a goddamn Mountie hat. Do you understand he's Smokey the fucking Bear? He says, in retrospect, there was a lot of signals out there in the sense that we were getting information from informers that could have been interpreted differently. But at the time, we believed it was innuendo, and believing it different from knowing and proving is something believing is different from knowing and proving is something altogether different. In fact, I was just as shocked as anyone when I learned he was arrested. Although I suppose in this business, nothing should surprise me anymore. Yeah, but
you're in law enforcement, sir.
Yeah, I mean, shit's going to happen.
Everything.
You've seen it all. Canucks management, they waste no time in offering whatever assistance they can to him. Silver as can be. He doesn't even play for them anymore. They said that they were going to try to help out Mrs. Bubla and do whatever they can reasonably do. Because he was still a member of the family. That's what it was. So what happened here? What did he do?
I'd sure like to know.
Well, the whole thing started in January of 87.
Okay.
And this is so weird that such disparate things can cause all these dominoes to fall. A 29-year-old heroin addict died of an overdose in a Vienna suburb.
That's always the catalyst.
That's the
Where'd you get the shit?
Yeah, and it goes up the line. The investigation led police to a Polish man who sold the drugs to the dead addict. The Polish guy then fucking fingered Boobs, and his partner Yanda is his last name.
Damn it.
As his suppliers. So in February of that year, Yanda was arrested with 1.7 kilos, so that's the 4 pounds there of heroin, and Bubla was arrested in April, like we said. Now, everyone in the Czech community says that it's all the Yanda guy's fault, and that Boobs is a nice guy, and it's all his fault. And he's, they blame him.
Yeah.
Yanda's a Czech. He's also a Czech, but he came to Canada as a refugee in the late 1960s. So you could be a refugee if you don't play hockey. Okay. If you play hockey, though,
then
tough shit.
Yeah, sit back.
Sit back. Yanda, he described by Austrian prosecutor Wolfried Kirschner, who sounds like an Austrian prosecutor. He's the drug smuggling ringleader. He owns a condominium in the same North Vancouver high-rise as the Bublas.
Okay.
So he's been hanging out with them like that. According to Austrian police, Yanda recruited Bubla to become his smuggling partner in late 1985.
Oh, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Bubla put up $60,000 for Pakistani heroin to go there and get it in the summer of 1986.
Okay.
So this is right after he retired.
Yeah.
He's doing this.
Took $50,000 of his money,
60.
his nest egg.
Yeah.
And sunk that into heroin.
Pakistani heroin.
Yeah.
And went there and everything. This is fucked up. Vancouver police say Yanda was in a Peruvian jail in the mid-1970s serving time on a cocaine conviction.
What?
Okay?
Yeah.
And he either bought or broke out of the jail. Like either paid off guards or broke out of jail. But either way, he broke out of jail.
Okay.
And went to Canada. And in 1977, he's charged in Canada with possession of heroin for the purpose of trafficking. But 5 days before his trial, they ended up dropping the charge.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
But he's arrested and he's a fucking fugitive, and they just let him go?
That's Stovern here, Smokey Stovern.
Yeah.
He says, quote, "We watched Yanda a lot and alerted authorities in different parts of the world whenever he went traveling. They say that some of the heroin that Bubla and Yanda smuggled out of Pakistan ended up in Vancouver. They tracked it to there. But Smokey doesn't believe either of them had a hands-on involvement with street level distribution. Of course not. They're the finance guys.
Right.
What difference does that make?
Right.
That doesn't make them less responsible.
No.
That makes them more responsible.
Sure.
They bought the heroin to sell. So, Jesus Christ. The 80s was a way different thing they would look at. Well, at least he's not pushing it in the streets.
He's not the front guy.
No, he bought a nice suit. He's fine.
Yeah.
Looking crazy. So
arrest the frontline employee.
Yeah, get them off the street. So it's ridiculous. Summer of 86, Bubla went to Pakistan.
Oh, boy.
Boobs went to Pakistan to oversee the purchase and transport of 4 kilos of heroin. Wow. That's no fucking joke. That's, to quote Goodfellas, don't give me the Babe in the Woods routine, Karen. Yeah. We got tapes of you on those phone calls talking about cocaine. Right. Like, you didn't just give a guy some money and go, I don't know, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. No, maybe I'll get some back. You went to Pakistan to oversee.
Make sure you get the shit.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody was tempting me with investing in drugs and everything, and I was like, I might do it. But and then they were like, we're going to go to Pakistan and get the heroin. I'd be like, never mind.
Get your passport. Let's go.
I'm good. Fuck, man. They said at the time this was worth about $2 million on the street in Vancouver.
60 grand to buy $2 million?
To 4 kilos of heroin.
Yeah.
60 grand was his part.
Okay.
It was Google's initial investment, and then they kept rolling it. Mm-hmm. That's how it works here. So they hid the heroin in preserve and pickling jars, and the heroin was smuggled out of Pakistan by 3 couriers. They said that Bubla never carried the drugs himself, as most bosses don't, nor did he ever do drugs. He doesn't know anything about drugs other than I'm hoping to get money for them.
This is wild.
This is fucked, man. And I'm not making this up. This isn't a bear. Once in Vienna, once the heroin got to Vienna, the drugs were stored in the home of a woman named Anna Pola, who is 36, and she's arrested also in this whole thing as part of the ring, basically. Right. The 3 of them, Yanda, Boobs, and Anna Pola, get tried together.
She's the Nicole Bobek of this situation.
There you go. Perfectly said. Yeah. According to Inspector Joseph Jalunik. Yeah, Janulik. Yeah, the chief investigator on the case. Bubla never intended to get more involved in the operation. He says, quote, he wanted to get in and out and just once to make some quick money for his family. But he didn't. He was in it for 2 years. Yeah. At Pola's house, that's when... Anna Pola's house, that's where they would take the shit, take it out of the pickling jars, and they'd put it in coffee tins, cigarette packs, chocolate balls. They'd give it the full up and smoke fiber weed treatment.
Whole treatment.
Yeah, and put it in all that shit. Austrian police say they don't know exactly how much heroin ended up in Vancouver, but they know some of it went to the Netherlands, some of it went to Germany. In the summer of '86, Yanda and Boobs sold the heroin to a drug dealer in Vancouver by passing it through open windows while their respective cars were moving alongside each other on a dark and quiet street.
Wow.
That's the story. Yanda and Boobs in one car, dealers in the other. They literally drove next to each other at the same speed and handed it out, so there was no stopping and which looks more suspicious than 2 people talking and handing each other a package. You know,
you can walk to Central Park and hand off a briefcase easier than you can do that shit.
That's what I mean. Especially if you made like a big day. Hey, there you go. Yeah, I got your box for you. There you go. Cool, man. Have a good one.
Remember you left this at my house last week?
That's not, you go, oh, all right, whatever. You wouldn't even look twice at that. Yeah. This, you'd be like, what's going on there?
You could run at somebody on the street in New York and be like, slow down, you forgot this, and hand them a briefcase and be like, that guy was a nice guy.
Yeah, what a nice guy he is. Exactly. That would totally work. Whereas this seems very shady on a dark and quiet street. What's going on out there?
That's wild.
The cars passing shit back to each other. They passed the heroin to the buyer, and he passed back a suitcase full of money.
Yeah, and then somebody in a street corner apartment was like, there goes a drug deal.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but like, if you're in a car doing this, you're dealing drugs.
Yeah.
Like, you're selling heroin.
You're part of it,
like, you're not just... He plays this innocent role, but then we find... then we find out he's on dark streets handing off... I don't care if Yanda handed it off. You're in the car, and it's your money, so you're part of it. According to the cops here, the initial interrogation sessions with Bubla looked upon the heroin deal as a purely business transaction. But when the police told him heroin is a killer drug and asked him what he would do if a drug dealer sold it to his own children, he became enraged and said, quote, I'd shoot him, and then broke down into tears.
Oh, my.
So yeah, they think they made him realize
what if this was your family?
Tragedy of his actions.
I'd be so upset.
I'd be so sad. So he's in jail awaiting charges here because he's in jail for months.
Oh, this is bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Come September, still in jail, still no charges.
Oh,
still there. They basically, they can hold him up to a year without seeking release on bail. Also, there's a right to a preliminary hearing where a judge decides if there's enough evidence here, that sort of thing. But there's no mention of charges, bail, a hearing.
Yeah.
They can take 6 months, sometimes a year, they said, while he sits in jail. One guy, Dr. Otto Ditz,
yeah,
he says he's the number 2 man at the Austrian embassy, so he knows stuff.
Yeah.
He said that it's based on the 1804 Napoleonic Code. It's the same in most European countries.
Yeah,
under
1804.
1804.
When heroin trafficking was at its peak.
You could predict it then, just like you could, lots of easy things to predict.
Unbelievable.
So under their system, evidence gathering in criminal cases is supervised by an investigating judge. In Bubla's case, he's got a judge too. This guy says that under Austrian law, Bubla and his lawyer would appear before this judge within 2 days of the arrest and have the right to review evidence, apply for bail, and challenge the rulings before a panel of 3 judges. He also said that he also denies that it's up to the suspects to prove their innocence. In the Austrian courts, the prosecution must prove guilt, just like the American courts. Bubla's lawyer says he expects formalized charges within 3 weeks for Bubla, and he said when a big crime is under investigation, there's no possibility of getting out of jail, basically. So there's no bail.
Yeah.
It's heroin trafficking, and he doesn't live there, so
it's a big problem.
Yeah, and they said it doesn't make much difference whether the accused is an Austrian or a foreigner. There are thousands of men like Bubla waiting in jail, so it's just like he's got to wait like everybody else.
That's a problem, man. If you've got thousands of people waiting for trial on shit like this, you're not fixing the problem.
Well, no, it's just clogging everything up too. I mean, it's got to at least like our system is flawed as fuck, as we all know, but at least like they have to like charge you, and then you have to, you can.
There's a pipeline in and out.
You're stuck when you get charged, and there's no bail and everything. But still, it's rough. So he is absolutely fucked. He's looking for. He's sitting in an Austrian jail somewhere, and they said this is not a nice jail either.
Sure it's not.
He's in a shit jail. He's sitting there. Any help would be great, basically. Like the Canucks help his family out a little, but they're not helping him to get him out of jail. They're not helping to get him out of a situation.
No.
He's praying, if only there was somebody silver enough to get me out of legal trouble like this. Who could it be? And he gets down on his knees and he prays to the Czechoslovakian bear gods. What is it, Borat? I worship the hawk. So he does that. And then there's a knock on the door, and his prayers are answered. It is CEO and chairman of the WWE, Vince McMahon, and he says, "How is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here instead of in my ring? Look at you. Look at you. You can fight bears.
Yeah.
You're a Czech. People can't even spell Czechoslovakian. You could speak gibberish foreign words and they wouldn't even know it. They just hate you. I can get you out of here. I got Snooka off on murder. Do you understand that? Do you know the power I have? Snooka killed a woman. Fluid pouring from her face, and I said, he doesn't speak English. And then we moved on to the next town. That's the power I have, Jiri. I can take care of you. You can do me one favor, though.
Yeah.
It's going to seem very strange to you, but put these overalls on for me. I want to see what they look. Oh, they're like heroin. I love them.
Yeah.
Poof. In a puff of 1099s and lawsuits. Other people sweat and tears. He's gone. And Bubla is very confused. But he's looking he'll take the help. He doesn't care. So it's
Bubla the bear, great wrestler.
But that's what I mean. You're a Czechoslovakian bear man named Bear Boobs. That's your name, Bear Boobs.
Bring you out in a bear jacket with the head on your head
in a cage.
Yeah.
We're gonna wheel you out in a cage because you're a dangerous animal.
Yeah, you eat children.
So his son, Jiri Jr. It's at this point that Jiri Jr. relinquishes his last name and takes his stepfather's name.
He loses the junior altogether.
And goes with Slegger. So he's Jiri Slegger.
Eesh.
Slegr.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, his son has grown up he speaks 3 languages, including Russian. Not bad. He said that he's had a difficult time with his dad. Slegger here won the gold medal in the 2005 World Championships. He was in the 1998 Olympics for the Czech Republic, playing hockey, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a hockey player, too. And he won a bronze medal in the 1992 Olympics for Czechoslovakia, along with, later on in 2002, he wins a Stanley Cup with the Detroit Red Wings.
Wow.
He won all 3 major trophies in ice hockey, gaining him entry into the prestigious Triple Gold Club.
Yeah.
That is apparently.
Also a better hockey player than his dad.
Yeah, well, a cup, a medal, and a world championship. So I guess that's how it works. He never got that. In 2010, Slegger was elected to the Chamber of Deputies as a candidate of the Czech Social Democratic Party.
Yeah.
They won the elections, but I guess it didn't work out well for him, for their whole deal here. I guess the chairman of the party had to resign, and then he was loyal to him, and he followed him out. So that's how that worked. He said that he remained in but he didn't resign. He remained in the parliament as an unaffiliated, so he didn't have a party. He's an independent, basically. He announced in 2013 that he was, quote, going back to the clean environment among athletes, and stepped down.
Okay.
Politics are so dirty.
Got it. He's done with that shit.
That athletics are I'm going back to the clean environment among athletes.
I'm going to go back to the clean environment where all they do is do drugs to cheat.
Do drugs to cheat and fucking beat their wives. I'm going to go to that. So, much nicer.
Because it's cleaner.
Much cleaner. So, he says it wasn't easy growing up, and he said he's been forgiving. But he said that he changed his name as a tribute to the way his mother and stepfather raised him. He said, I took the name Slegger because I was living with my mother and stepdad. All the time, everyone was Slegger, and I was Bubla, he says. And really, my father wasn't a part of my life at all. I maybe heard from him 3 times all the time I was growing up.
Wow.
No birthday cards, nothing.
Oh, God.
Fuck, man, that's awful.
I know how it goes.
And it was tough. At that point, I didn't want to have anything to do with him. It was tough, too, because I used to play with Ivan Helinka's son, and all this time, he was a great hockey player. I would hear his stories of what his dad and my dad were doing together, but I would hear nothing from him. That's fucking awful. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, he's we'll talk about him, but he has a good career here. November 1987 is some pretrial shit here they're talking about, and this is the wife here. Ivana is out in the press. She says, quote, I don't believe it. I'm sad. I'm also very angry.
Yeah.
I don't think that he did it. Okay.
I got bills to pay.
I got it. Well, she gets into that. She says she blames the Joe Yanda guy and says it's his fault and all this type of shit. So evidence presented to the court indicated they transported everything like we told you in the packages and all that sort of shit. She says that she hasn't talked to her husband since June.
Okay.
And it's November now, and she's got to travel to Austria and urge him to appeal anything that's going on. She said it's been difficult without him. The children know he's in jail, but don't believe he did it. Well, they're 10, so
right.
Yeah. So they said that heroin, the Smokey Stover, and said heroin is still regarded as a killer drug, and he's got to pay the price.
Well, it's 2021. It's still a killer drug.
Yeah. They said the publicity has been brutal on them, the Bublas.
Yeah.
Ivana said that everything is 99% lies and dirt.
Okay.
Oh, my.
Except for that 1% where I smuggled drugs.
You know, that sort of thing. She also says that he said he told police he had given Yanda an investment of $60,000, and Yanda only repaid him $25,000, so he even got screwed. She says it was always mentioned that this is Jiri talking. It was always mentioned that Yanda was the dealer, but he wasn't famous enough to be worth writing headlines about.
Yeah.
Said, he was on a hockey team. So the trial starts, and they talk about the whole thing. They just talk about how they were neighbors and how the whole thing came about. And Bubla's wife, though, remained convinced he was set up. She said, quote, I still don't believe he did this because my husband was so scared of authorities. He was an honest man and a very hard-working man, so I think somebody used him and he didn't have a choice or a way out.
Take it easy, Shayna Mayfield.
Christ, can we give her the Golden Gilretho Award right now?
She is a darling.
Ivana, fucking Bubla, come get your award. Jesus Christ.
Math test, path test. There's no way he failed.
Wow. She believed her husband was traveling a lot in Europe since 1985 because he was doing importing and exporting and scouting. It's just ridiculous. The court they disagree with that here, and the verdict comes back guilty of trafficking heroin here. After they're found guilty, this newspaper article says Bubla and his co-accused spent a couple of hours in court and they extended their apologies to the Austrian people. Apparently that's part of the system when you're found guilty. They do that here, though, too. So you have anything to say for yourself, and then you try to say you're sorry so they don't give you a shitload of time in prison.
Right. Here's your time to apologize.
There it is. So this all comes down to the sentencing. And let's see, Joe Yanda gets 8 years in prison.
That's a lot.
You, sir, may fuck off. Anna Pola, she gets 3 years in prison. You mad may fuck off. And then our boy here, Jiri, the boobster, gets, you, sir, may fuck off 5 years in prison.
Okay.
So not terrible. Could have been a lot worse
for
than that.
Smuggling 4 pounds of heroin.
Just that. Well, yeah, they charge him with more than that. That's just what a raid caught. So they said that they have all the evidence of dozens and dozens of pounds of it. He admitted to some involvement. They said he's sentenced to 5 years in jail and fined about $35,000.
Okay.
Here, his co-defendant Joe Yanda was fined $112,000.
Oh,
and given
my!
8 years in prison. That's not bad. His lawyer said that this is Yanda's lawyer said that he was overjoyed by Yanda's sentence because it could have been at least twice as long.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Now, Bubla says about the trial, quote, the way things happened in court, it was much too short. After a week of deliberations, they came back and in 10 minutes it was all decided. Well, yeah, they thought about it for a week. That's why.
Right.
That's so they didn't decide it in 10 minutes. They decided it in a week. You just said that. Am I missing something there?
Does he mean they waited a week and then it took them only 10 minutes to say that I'm guilty? Did he miss something? It feels like he missed something.
Like he missed a sentence in there or something.
Somebody didn't explain something right.
Yeah. He says that when, quote, talking about the judge, quote, when he called out 853, the number of years for the three of them, I could not believe it was true. I did not think until this moment that I would get 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I thought it was the 3.
Yeah, I thought it was 3. So the problem is, he has more than one problem, obviously. He made about $100,000, 5 years in hockey. And but the wife, Ivana, says her bank account is almost done, and she'll soon have to get a job doing menial work because she's not yet confident with her English.
Okay.
And she's in Vancouver. She says that she'll fly to Vienna for a week and talk to the prison officials and all that, and we'll get into that.
You got money for a Vienna plane ticket? What?
I guess you got to go all in at that point. Jesus. She says that she wants to discuss with his lawyer whether Canadian and Austrian governments would agree to let him serve his time in British Columbia to be around his family. Smokey Stovern says the countries don't have a prisoner exchange agreement, so that's probably not going to happen.
This is a foreign exchange student,
this
lady.
isn't
we don't want somebody else's criminal to have to pay the bills for that. Are you out of your fucking mind?
They got it. So he said that there can be... He said that he feels like his whole life is ruined, and he said, quote, I'm a marked man for life.
Okay.
Oh, I feel so bad for him.
Well, that's where you should have thought about this, sir.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you feel like a criminal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I feel bad for your kids, but I don't feel bad for you.
Mm.
I feel bad for your wife.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for you.
Right.
I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Jiri Bubla.
Stop this.
Marketing specialist, KFC, Vespola Konosti Amrest in Prague, Czech Republic here.
Yeah, not Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I don't, maybe.
No.
Seasoned marketing, communications, and PR specialist.
Okay.
So maybe. And then Jiri Bubla, CEO of some shit, of V Spolen Kosti Image CZ AS.
I don't know what that is.
Whoa. Redaktor centrarista dramaturg moderator Seski Televis. Something to do with television.
With TV, yeah.
Czech, he's a moderator in Czech television, I think.
Okay.
Samo Stantna realizacji reklamakiewicz something. Okay.
Reclaimed water.
That's what he says. So,
Yeah.
those guys.
All right.
I feel bad for them.
I can't believe there's more than one.
I was like, oh, look,
I am
but I
stunned.
doubt it. And I'm like, oh, my God. That is a popular name over there. So December of 87, he's in prison now.
Yeah.
Now he knows he's in prison for a while. Bubla's been praised by police and prison officials for his politeness and general cooperation.
Well, that's kind of been his MO.
He's scrubbing prison floors and washing windows to stay in shape, he said. He's about 5'11", 220 is kind of his normal frame. And he's apparently intimidated by prison life, they said.
I'm sure.
He said, people are staying here who I don't understand at all. People who have been here 10 times or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're called criminals.
Right.
That's the thing.
That's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
This is their life, sir. And yours now.
And this is you, too, so get used to it. He does an hour-long interview, actually, here. It took place in a small room, basically, and they said that it was conducted in English and Czech with the aid of an interpreter. And the interview, Bubla's wife ended up coming in. She visited, and she got there during the interview, and she says he's innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They ask him how he's doing. He's crying during the interview.
Not great.
Not great, Bob. It's not good. He says,
How am I doing?
how you doing? Well, I'm in an Austrian prison. Quote, I'm way down mentally. Every week in here seems like a year.
Sure, yeah.
So he said this is his first interview, and he said that he made a mistake. He got into it a year-long heroin operation, but he said his crime was one of, quote, knowing, not doing.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
That's the thing. That's what conspiracy is, or also that sort of shit. He said that his children are asking him when he's coming home, and he's having financial problems. It's not clear yet whether he'll be allowed back into Canada once his sentence has been served.
Sure.
Doesn't even know where he's going. Asked if he thought he would ever be caught for what he did, he replied, no, it never occurred to me.
That's why I did it.
It never occurred to me. Well, it should probably occur to you, sir.
When you are smuggling, your share is 60,000. Some other people have skin in this game.
Yeah.
That's a lot of drugs.
That's what I'm saying. That's just him. Fuck.
So dumb.
And he says, though, quote, my life is just family and hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also said he's in deep money trouble and doesn't know if he'll be able to pay the fine.
Mm-hmm.
He said, wow, the financial situation is not rosy.
No.
I guess not.
That's the problem with sinking your nest egg into drugs and then getting caught.
Yeah.
All that money's gone.
And you look like an asshole.
Right.
His wife said she's looked everywhere for work in Vancouver to support her children, but can't find anything. She said, quote, I try hard, but nobody wants me. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because you don't speak good English and your husband is an international heroin trafficker. So you have a bit of a stigma on you. They said the publicity's been awful. She denounced, with some prompting from his wife, he denounced Austrian and Czechoslovakian news accounts as the trial as well. As they were like, she was like, tell them how fucking liar they are. Tell them how much they're lying.
Yeah.
So he said that he gave an investment of $60,000. That's what he keeps calling it, an investment. Rather than drug money.
You bought $60,000 worth of drugs.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. It was always mentioned that Yanda was the dealer, but he wasn't famous enough, like he said before. And they said that, who knows? During this interview, he refused to discuss his involvement any further. And once his wife arrived, he refused to discuss anything to do with the heroin ring.
Yeah, I don't want her to know anymore.
I want to keep this together here. Now, apparently, regulations officially prohibited her from speaking to Jiri during the interview. She coached him constantly with answers, all of which went without reprimand from the prison officials. When Bubla asked questions about the operation of the heroin ring, his wife cut him off and said, quote, if you're going to write more dirt on this heroin thing, you can forget it. You'll just try to convict him again. He's already in prison.
Yeah.
He deferred to her after this and refused to discuss any aspect of it. He was just like, ask her. She'll tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
Austrian investigators have already said that Boobs told them that he and Yanda traveled together to the Far East, not just once, several times to go there. So he's definitely not, he's trying to hide it from his wife, I think.
Yeah.
The harsh circumstances he finds himself in, they do say that he's very cooperative and he's a very nice guy. And, all that sort of shit. He also spoke of there's a threat against him from the outside.
Oh, boy.
He said, I have found out that someone is trying to hurt me. but he wouldn't say how or who or why. But police said he's been cooperating with their ongoing investigation into the ring, which includes an international hunt for 6 other members. Probably those guys,
Right.
I'm going to assume, are probably the guys who want to hurt you.
One of those 6.
International heroin smugglers you told on.
Yeah. They're generally not real keen on being found out.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's just one of those weird things here. Ivana said she looked into everywhere for work to support the children, but she can't find it. They said that the operation, this whole thing, is just the beginning into looking into the ring's operation. It could take another 9 months to bust everybody. Yeah, Bubla said, though, he said that Bubla is not implicated in any of the new investigations, which, great.
Good for him.
He's in prison. He said he became involved in the trafficking at the end of his hockey career after his income dropped dramatically.
Right.
He said, I was a little bit scared at the time. What could I do? My career was over at the time.
You can traffic drugs.
I mean, everybody out there, you got bills? What could I do? I had to traffic heroin. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's not an excuse.
Keep this in mind when you are thinking about retiring with Social Security as your pay.
Yeah. And then he said, this is my favorite of all. He was not aware when he was involved in the drug trafficking how destructive heroin could be to individuals in society. Wasn't living on Earth for the last fucking 40 years, apparently. Just completely slipped his mind. They do say that he is a model prisoner, though, by 1989. He's a model prisoner, quote, works hard, says little, and feels remorseful. That's what they say. He is he shares a cell with 2 other inmates. It's a medium security prison in Southeast Austria. He hauls deliveries to the kitchen. That's his job. So his wife hired a lawyer in Montreal to persuade Austrian authorities to allow him to serve his sentence in Canada, but they basically laughed at her.
Yeah.
Like, that's really not happening. You've wasted your money. No mutual prisoner exchange. Bubla will be held and most likely released in 1990 after he served 2/3 of his sentence. Now, the wife doesn't want to give interviews ever unless it's with him or in accordance with him. The Canucks chairman said that he's going to try to help out the family as much as possible here. The charges come after he admitted to involvement in all this shit, man. I mean, come on, what the fuck here? So a player visits him in jail too.
Who is it?
It's a Czech guy who signed with the Oilers here, and he Ruzicka. He's a goalie. He said he chatted with him. He had played with him before. He went to see him in prison, and they said, how is he? And he said, quote, he's aged. Gee, thanks.
Prison's tough.
I mean, I hadn't seen him in 4 years. Obviously, nobody's happy to be in jail. Well, no shit. Yeah. His son, Jiri Jr. here, the Canucks take him in the second round of the 1990 NHL draft. Yeah. So they take his son. So they didn't ruin his legacy, apparently. Maybe that's their way of making it up to him. They want to help him that way.
The Canucks, wow.
Yeah, Vancouver took him, which is wild. He said, quote, I don't know if he will find out I was drafted. My dream is to meet him one day again here in Vancouver.
Right.
So he still wants his dad to be, I don't know if my dad knows I'm drafted and I want to meet with him here. And he still wants to hang out with his dad.
Right.
He's not even that, I mean, he's mad at him, but.
And I want to show him that I got drafted by the same team. That's amazing.
Yeah. No shit. So he plays for them 93, 94, 94, 95. Then he gets traded to Edmonton.
Yeah.
Plays for the Oilers for a couple years. Then he ends up in Pittsburgh for 4 years. 97 through 2001 in Pittsburgh. 2000, 2001 with the Atlanta Thrashers. Same the next year. And then 2001 and 2 with the Detroit Red Wings, where they won a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
And then 2003, 2004, back to the Canucks.
Yeah.
And then he ends up somehow on the Boston Bruins for a minute as well here. So that's interesting. Now, he and his son end up reconnecting.
Oh, boy.
Here. I guess he was miserable, the son, Slegler here. He said, quote, people were really not very nice to you. When I would be on the ice, the other team would ask me if I took bread to my father while he was in there. So, I mean, that's what kids are going to do. They're going to try to intimidate you and try to fucking get your mind off the game.
And the one thing
He's probably a good player.
Right. The thing that they know about him for sure is his dad's in prison, and that's fun to rib somebody about.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. If you're trying to get somebody off their game.
Yeah. Remind them that their dad's a criminal.
Maybe that's how you do it. I take bread to him. He said, and there was lots of other stuff. It was not very pleasurable, but you have to move on. Yeah. My stepdad was a big help to me at that time. Well, yeah. He said that Slegler didn't get on speaking terms with Jiri until his first tour as a Canuck in 91, after Bubla had returned from prison and was working for his wife's cleaning company.
Yeesh.
His wife started a cleaning company, and she got the contract, though, for where the Canucks play. That's how they helped her out.
Is it one of those topless cleaning services?
I believe it is.
We're going to send the boobs over there.
We're going to send the boobs, and people are like, oh, bullshit. You fucking
that sounds
liars.
Great. And then he shows up, and they're like, no, not these boobs.
You fucking liars. Liars. So, yeah, Slegler, though, he said the first time that he reunited with his father was his first tour as a Canuck in 91. Bubla had returned from prison in 91. Like I said, he's working for a cleaning company that his wife owns.
Terrible.
And the son says, quote, they came to me in the dressing room and said, your father is right outside. And I said, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's here to vacuum.
For real?
He's here to wash the windows.
He wants us to clear out so he can clean the toilets. We saw each other.
I can't.
Brutal.
It's tough, man. I mean, it's a noble. It's fine.
No, it's fine.
You can own a cleaning service and fucking clean up. You can have unbelievable things with a cleaning service, but I'm sure they're not doing that, right? They're not super.
Well, I think they're doing okay because they have the contract for the stadium.
That's a good point. If you got a contract, if it's their cleaning service too, they could be doing really well.
They could be doing pretty fucking well off of it.
My God,
that's a lot of cleaning. And I'm sure it's a big giant bid.
And you're cleaning the fucking locker room too. You're doing very well.
Yeah. So he said, we saw each other, started talking, and now things are really good between us.
Really?
I have to say my father is now making all the steps and all the effort, so he's trying to make up for earlier.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Jesus. So the family, basically, they employ 6 people at their cleanings. They have a cleaning service and a muffin shop.
What?
Which is a very strange combination of things to do.
They didn't open a cupcake shop a few years later?
So cleaning and a muffin
shop.
It's muffins and cleaning. It's just an odd combination, but whatever. Ivana started the cleaning business to support herself and their 2 sons while Jiri was in prison for 4 fucking years.
Yeah.
She landed the contract for the Pacific Coliseum, and they now do the majority of cleaning at the General Motors place as well.
Oh,
so
they're doing great.
I think they do okay there. So they do so well, Canada wants to deport him come 1994.
Really?
Yeah, they're still going by the book.
Yeah.
And he said that even if they do deport him, he's not going back to Czech. He's not going back to the Czech. It's a completely different place than when he left. And he said, in any case, he believes he'll still be able to stay in Canada. He said, I've lived 6.5 years in Canada, and I've had a chance to fall in love with it. I'd like to stay there.
Yeah.
Of course.
If they deport you, forgive me for being dumb, but they don't just like walk you to the door of Canada and kick you out, right? Because then you're in another country.
I think that's your problem. I think that you have to be deported to the border. I mean, then I can't bring you to the American border.
Right. They'd have to put you on a plane and get you out of there, right? They can't push you up to fucking...
They'll just give you a rowboat.
Right. That other place, none of it is north of it, right?
If he wants to go live in the ice, he can go, the Arctic Circle.
You'd be kicking him onto indigenous property, and they don't want you either.
Well, he'd freeze to death anyway, so it'd be problem solved. Maybe problem solved. I'm not sure. He said he was looking ahead, and he's looking very much, he's looking at the future. And he said, I don't know what happens next, but the situation looks very bad, not just for me, but for my family.
Yeah, it does.
So we've come this far.
Yeah.
And so in March 1995, a lawyer acting for Bubla, basically they said that he's been working for his wife's janitorial company. Quote, the deportation inquiry in 1992 was under the old act. The appeal was under the new act. So apparently there's different things here. Is the deportation order right or wrong? That's what the board has to decide. And the wording of the transitional provisions of the legislation is very difficult. Jesus Christ. We are here before you to clear up the muddle. That's the perfect, because that sounded like a muddle.
Yeah.
Then he said, we're here to clean that shit up. So if the federal court judges decide the board's decision was right, then Bubla can stay in Canada. However, if they decide the board was wrong, the matter returns to the board for a new hearing of Bubla's appeal against deportation.
Okay.
His lawyer said, quote, it's a very confusing situation.
I would say so.
I agree.
Yeah.
So 1995 in December, finally the effort to deport the Boobs ends. Who wants to deport the Boobs? The immigration department ended its efforts to deport him. Basically, they said that they refused. The immigration minister, Sergio Marchi, refused to declare him a danger to the Canadian public.
Yeah.
And so Senator Ray Peralt and Canucks general manager and President Pat Quinn were on hand to testify as character witnesses as well.
Oh, that's nice.
So he had a lot of heavy hitters there. But the testimony was unnecessary after the department and Bubla's lawyer agreed that because of the refusal to call him a fucking menace to society, basically a danger to Canadian public, he should be allowed to stay. They said that, quote, I made representations. I spoke with the officials about him and I sent a letter. I know the minister very well, is what his lawyer said. It apparently helped. He apparently, his lawyer served as parliamentary secretary for manpower and immigration from 71 to 73, so he knew some shit. He also served as director of a corporation that owned the Canucks for part of the time Bubla played with the team.
It's a good reason to be involved.
Yeah, so the agreement between the government and the lawyer must still be approved by an immigration and refugee board, blah, 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 but it looks pretty good. He says that Bubla and his wife have worked to rebuild their lives. Quote, he has paid his debt to society. It was obvious to me that he was no longer a danger to that society.
Okay.
He said he expressed remorse and it's impacted his family horribly. He said that he would not allow himself to celebrate. Bubla did after all this. He said he still felt nervous after the immigration department announced it would be halting its efforts because he said he will not celebrate until he possesses documentation allowing him to remain in Canada. He said that he was caution was caused by having his hopes raised in 1993 after some sort of judicial review of the thing sided with him, but then it went back the other way. So he's been fucked. So in the 2000s, he's running a restaurant with his wife because they opened a restaurant then, and also he opens a trucking company as well. He owns Tofino Transport.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do they transport, James?
You just can't.
You can't be in the import, export, moving and holding. You can't be in the moving shit and holding shit business.
No moving shit, no holding shit, no driving shit, no
You
shit.
can do the cleaning shit business. That's it.
No, you can clean shit, but leave it right there. Don't hold it, don't move it.
What happened, James?
Oh, man. So, no, he said that, he owns a trucking company, and he shares the company with Raul Pereira, and he's happy to have a good relationship with his son.
Is that a Colombian fella?
It sounds like it. That's what I mean. Raul Pereira.
Right.
He's a nice Colombian man. And he said about he loves that he's sees all three of his sons now.
Okay.
He said, I am very happy and proud of all my boys. He said he encouraged his son, Jiri Jr., to give the NHL a shot despite the fact that he would make more money in Russia. He said, you should do it. He said, quote, hockey is good over there, but this is the best. I told him if he plays well here and there's no lockout, he could be in good shape. If there is a problem, he could always go back.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. Can't get enough of Jiri Bubla.
He kept it together?
He's fine, I guess. He's kept it together. He's like this very bald-looking businessman now. Boy. He looks like a real dork, and he runs a trucking company. And
I'm so nervous.
I know that.
What's in the trucks, Jiri?
Transport.
Oh, no.
Don't have the word transport in anything you do after you've been arrested for fucking heroin trafficking, you dumb shit.
Does he go on at like commercials? We'll smuggle your couch from Vancouver to Toronto.
Yeah, right. It's legal, but we'll pretend it's not. It'll be real exciting. You can ride in the back of the truck with the couch. Oh, man. So can't get enough. Well, you can have something transported via his trucking company, eat a muffin maybe, have his wife's company clean your shit, or go to comc.com and get some Jiri Bubla hockey cards.
Oh.
We have a 1979 Panini hockey series, 79 stickers. That's $3.42.
Wow.
An 84-85 O-Pee-Chee, which is the Topps It's kind of a certain type that they made the O-Peaches here. $1.68.
Deal.
It's a cool looking card too.
Canada?
Canada?
Canada dollars?
This just says dollars, so I don't know. And then I think this is U.S. actually. And then an 83.84 O-Peachy here, $2.99.
I want one of those.
We can get some
They're
Bubla
so
cards.
cheap. We can get them all.
We can hook up and have a
treat them
whole
like Pokemon.
We should have a whole Bubla Pokemon.
Corner the fucking market on Booblas.
Oh, a minute. We need to know.
I want all the boobs.
Everybody, any Bubla merchandise out there, we want it all.
Send us the boobs.
Show us your boobs, and then send them to us.
Yeah.
Oh man, so that's a crazy, fucking insane, wild shit story.
I'm stunned that he held it together since then.
Right?
I really am.
Because especially with the lack of money and the money problems,
and he's moving shit.
Yeah.
So like the opportunity to move shit is there.
It's gotta be so tempting.
Yeah.
I could just put it in with that and ship it along.
And just throw it in with those with all that chocolate.
I feel like Ivana would kill him.
Yeah. She would.
Fucking murder him in his sleep for that. Do you know what I went through?
Yeah.
And she'd kill him.
I had to pretend that you were not doing it.
Do you know I had to tell everyone?
You know how many friends I lost
job.
because of you? I lost my life.
I haven't been to a fucking brunch in 10 years.
And I owned a restaurant.
The ladies won't invite me anymore. And I owned the fucking
They
place.
wouldn't even eat at the restaurant I owned.
Oh, those lousy bastards. So that, everybody, is the Jiri Bubla story. Part of it fake and most of it real. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, there's an easy way to tell us, not only us, but the rest of the world about it.
Yeah.
Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Doesn't matter what you say.
No.
Not for our egos.
No.
It's really not. But business-wise, it helps us.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to help us go up the charts so more people know about the show, that's a very good way to do that. Also, a good way to do that is you can go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Right.
And you can buy tickets for the virtual live show.
It's going to be great.
May the 6th, and 3 days after that. We're going to have a blast on that night. Yes, it's going to be fun. I get that people are starting to go out again and shit like that, and that's great. We're going to have live shows at the end of the year and, in places and shit like that. But this is still a pretty cool, fun.
Yeah.
If you're going to be home at night, you're going to want to do this.
Here's
Trust
a
me.
safe way.
Yeah, this is gonna. It's just fun as shit. So get involved in that. It's shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Virtual live show. Oh fuck, can we not wait? I swear to God. And you can get all kinds of updates on everything, touring information, and really anything like that by following us on social media at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and you can do that. Also, Patreon. Huge stuff on Patreon, everybody. It was so much fun. Last time we did Marv Albert and we did the Richard Ramirez we talked about. This week we're going to take it a little bit light and have some fun, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of comedy coming from this, and this is going to be a very laugh-heavy episode here. We're going to talk about our favorite sports movies of all time and make fun of a lot of them because they suck,
right?
And then tell you why The Air Up There is fantastic.
Such a good movie.
And we're going to get into all of that, and we've all seen sports movies. That's the thing, whether it's something great or whether it's
Miracle,
an older one, whether it's like North Dallas 40 or whether it's fucking Major League or whether it's Blue Chips or whether it's fucking The Replacements or whatever the shit they play on TBS every 5 minutes, and
The Longest Yard,
any of those, Any Given Sunday, anything. There's so many of these movies, and we're going to make our top 5, and we'll probably make a bottom 5 too, of ones that suck dick, and we're going to make fun of them and all sorts of shit like that. I think Any Given Sunday is going to land on that list because it is
it's horrific.
It's fucking bad.
Sharks.
Oh God, you can get all of that and more. And Jimmie will mispronounce your name at the end of the show because you're a producer, and that means a lot to us. And you'll get access to that, all the Small Town Murder bonus, all the Crime and Sports bonus, the whole back catalog. You get that over at patreon.com/crimeandsports. And if you just want to make a one-time donation and have great karma, and be a producer, of course, and have your name mispronounced horribly, you can do that very easily with our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. And honestly, everything that everybody out there does for us is so appreciated. It really is. I mean, it's one of those things where we do this show because we like this show.
Right.
That's why we do this show. We don't have to do this show. No. This is not how we make our living. The Crime in Sports is we do it because people like it.
Love of the game.
And it's love of the game. We like it.
Yeah.
And they like it. They give Patreon for it because they're into it. So we are just as into it no matter how viable it is as compared to our other shows. That doesn't fucking matter.
People ask me constantly, like, how do you like comics especially? How do I build a podcast that's fun like yours? How do I do? And there's no blueprint for this because it's an audience. The audience is what does it. And you guys are the ones that have made this viable. And so when people ask me, how do I do it? I say, I don't know. I talk to them because they're the ones that did this.
Yeah,
for me.
find an audience.
Yeah.
Like, that's easier said than done.
These people are amazing.
But thank you for everything you do for us. And we have to find out here.
Yeah.
Jimmie, I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to know the names of the people who... I just need to know the names of the people who would never, ever try to smuggle heroin out of Pakistan and then give it to us so we overdose in Vancouver or a suburb of Vienna. I need to know about it. Hit me with those names, Jimmie.
This week's executive producers are Joanne Ahern, Beverly Cundelan. What?
Hey,
no.
Hero. Don't care.
Maria Rasper, Jordan Bennett, obviously.
The best.
Henry Harbin, Nathan Turley, Cronald Dankis. I don't know what that. That's his name, evidently, on Patreon. But he donated both ways.
Well, thanks, man.
Melissa Turner, Sarai Ferreira. Oh boy, Greg Rabinowitz. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Truly,
you.
you're fucking amazing. It's
heart and soul.
It's unbelievable. Other producers this week are Jay Shelley. Thank you so much. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Sarah Bruneski. Happy birthday. Jesse Pitts he's in Tennessee. He's still hanging around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Annalena Humberg. Adam Cole. He donated both ways. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you so
Craig
much.
Ventura. Isabel Michelini. Rachel Graham. Leah Strasdes. Mandy Lebecco. That may be Apple fixing that name. I don't. Is it Lebecco? It might be. Aaron Taylor, Andrew Gillen, Megan Helton, Philip Harass. Gotcha. You got it in, Phil. Thanks. Tommy Yake, Crystal Tagliatella. Tagliatella.
She's a pasta.
Happy birthday, Spaghetti Queen.
Thank you.
Janice Hill, Susanna Platt, Lilicious, looking delicious.
I like that.
Tracy Potes, Amber Citizen, Charles Emerson Winchester III.
Wow.
And Little League champion coach Rudy Stein. Mary Page Diaz Estabillo. Kristen Hecker, Jessica Massary, Tiffany Gonzalez, Dean Profit.
That's overboard.
That's fantastic.
That's
overboard. Stung. I didn't see it when I wrote it.
That's perfect.
But as soon as you giggled, I got it. Victoria Sangil, Emma DeLong, Demetrius Scrapates, Karen Dykins, Catherine Allen, Jean-Leon Magnotta, Thomas Smith, Ashley Vio, Carl Kirshner, fucking the corporal.
Corporal effect.
Joanna Nugent, Anthony Renaro, Angela Pace, Sherry-Ann Chin Wong Jo, Nep, Danny Grand Jambi. God, fuck, this is brutal. Donna Costello, Geraldine Throneberry, Kevin Carroll, Dana Fluck, Kathina Music. Jesus, fuck. All right, let me focus on this. Aaron Schmidt, Allison Litton, Stephen Poe, Purple with no last name, Rachel Cameron, Matt Smith, Brianna Sue, Carrie Pudding, Kendrick Patterson, Lana Patone, Brennan Trapp, Brandon Childress, Caitlin Wilson, Macaholic 92. Because there's 91 others. Nova Reinhardt, Isaiah Morano, Ann Brown, Hannah Cortati, Katiana, D's Nuts Across Your Face. I got that one. Hannah Witherwax, Sarah Greentree, Eric Sampson, Susan Johnson, Catherine Leake, Kevin Hansen, Jackie Kelly, Black He-Man.
Hey.
Jessica, I believe him, Jessica Kanu, Amy with no last name, Matthew Vonami, Wendy Stephenson, Margaret Teasdale, Lauren Glaviano, Jesus Christ, Shaler Levine, Shauna Sampson, Tyler Nelson, Joseph Bright, Erica with no last name, Rachel Kvetz, Vanessa Martin, Malik Barrett, Ashley Eddy, Greta Vance, Christopher Sutley, Brandon Kobeck, Jason Shelley. Oh, that's Jay Shelley. That's the guy whose birthday it is.
Hey, happy birthday.
Lonnie Collins, Charlene Bushbacher, Kristen Rosen, Mark. There's no R in that. Mark Williard, Rhonda Park. That's what I was doing. I was looking at Mark and trying to pronounce Rhonda's name. Chanda Selick, Ben Berzowski, Krista Cody Coyote. Krista Cody Coyote McRae. That's her name. Annie Altivers. I think that's a reference to fucking Coyote Ugly, right? It's got to be.
I don't know.
Bonnie Gibson, Christian Clayton, Lacey Smitherman, Jamie Gallup, Alan Woodyard, Joseph Ravston, Beth Hill, Matthew Wood, Michaela Cobb, Chelsea Pass, Leah McLarty, Deanna or Kogo. What is that? Call me Deanna or call me Kagami Creighton. What?
Whoa. Those
Alyssa
are
McIntyre, Alex Gage Pullman, Maya Watson, Salient B of A, Bofa. What? Nathan Onifer, Kay Dean, Shiana Ramsey, Annie Olson, Craig Cole, Kelly Brown, Jared Watkins, Adam Stark, Pucker Brush, Rye Sorensen, Curtis Mann, Joseph Stevenson, Cody Deems, Donis McWilliams, Brett Davis, Evan with no last name, Ginja Godsill. Boy, oh boy, I don't know.
Jiri Bulba?
Maybe. Natalie Ozenbaugh, Jason McElwain, Leah Mills, Rachel Glover, Annie Kelty, Peg Gurr, what is this? Shanna Stone, Tori Doan, Holly Woodward, Isaiah with no last name, James nope, that's Courtney. Henny 11011. I don't know. Mikhail Dahl, Matt with no last name. Nicole G 503, obviously.
Hey.
Scott Randall, Mata, Judson Douglas, Bonnie Southard, Stitch with no last name. Kevin Tarwa, Brandon with no last name. Little Jack, Casey, and Grace, both no last name.
Dang.
Diane Searcy, Mark Norton, Anne Marie Pendergast, Bonnie Betty. That's Betty. Colton,
Betty.
Connor Pullman, Hunter B, Drew Peacock, and E. Norma Stitz from Coxsackie, James.
Oh,
obviously.
Well, clearly.
With her big tits and the Drew Peacock.
Coxsackie's a real place, too. It's in New York.
Nicholas Ferguson, Michelle Falzone. See, this is what I did opening up like this. Please, get all these fucking jerks. Michelle Falzon, Kenneth Bryan, Matthew Yanez, Sarah Harrell, Danita Freeman, Kaz Margano, god damn it, Alexis, nope, that's Alexandra Oller. Katie Christine, Leslie McKenzie, Christian Toms, Carly Stitham, Mark Boyk, Christopher, nope, that's Michelle. Paranode, Andre Kizelenko,
Hey.
Gabe Gilliam, Rachel Voles, Stevia Smiles, Lynn Kelly, Jezere Norton, Aislinn Ewing, Ailsin. I think it's Aislinn. I think I typed that wrong. Ewing is the last name, though. Jeff M., Billy Buck Williamson, Melanie Foggett, I think that's Mel Foggett, Edward Gillenwater, Danielle Blashak, Fred Stewart, Taylor Davis, Whiplash Huang, Jose Alvarado, Jade Patton, Angel with no last name, You Can Do This, Jimmie.
Say encouragement.
Justin Allensworth, Liz with no last name, or Lice, Jacob O'Connor, what is this? Ballsack Jenkins. Good for you, Jenkins.
Ballsack Jenkins.
Morgan McEnany, Brooke Hoffman, Sky Murphy, Jordan Scott Lane, Brandy Venter, Holly Smith, Jenna Lafferty, Sash Richardson, Comfort, Ajay Sarpong. Danny Cooper, Kayla Iverson, Danielle with no last name, Taylor Smith, Emily Clements, Brian Johnson, probably the guy from AC/DC.
I'm sure.
Right. Nathan Rice, Carolina Klassa, Frank Zecca, Preston Myers, Allie Quick, Cody Morey, Astor with no last name, Akira with no last name, Benjamin Grant, Brent Graham, Amanda Jackson, Tremendous Upside, Scott Ayler, Paul DeMarco, Casey Licht, Sonia Sanford, Faith Davenport, Desmond Peterson, and Dan Arnett, Eddie Hyde, Aaron Ludwig, Michelle H., Scott Sawatsky, Adele Mayu, Grace Patch, Jenna Cook, Anna Elias, Jared with no last name, Bootleg LL, Katie Turner, Melissa Husted, Ashley Moscato, Ashley Stevens, Kim Ritter, Jesse Hansen, Derek Tuttle, Maddie Kornberg, Tony Shoemaker, Kenneth with no last name, Radames Alvarado, Anthony Aspero, Bethany with no last name, Markeon Delk. Right? Markeon. That's such a dope name.
That's a cool name.
Sounds like a kicker. Tavia Douthard, Adam Hayberger, Karis Mangarelli. What? Did I nail an Italian
on the first try?
Fucking
You're on a roll,
home
Jimmie.
run.
He's rolling.
Bethany Beatty, Bryce Sticker, Connor Wolf, Greg Rabinowitz, Tyler Nida, Nicole Basarico. That one's Italian. I'm never going to get it. Kayalana?
Back to it.
Kayalana, with no last name. Haley Childers, Rachel Hawken, Randy Slaughter, Tara Grimshaw, Mary Marler, Olivia Hudson, Victoria Placapitas, Kevin Palata, Jake with no last name. Also, Aaron Salisbury of the Steak Fortune. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for everything you do. And obviously, all of our patrons as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
You're amazing.
From the bottom of our hearts, honestly, we cannot thank you enough for every single thing that you do for us. Every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Thank you.
Following and giving a shit. That's what matters.
That's it, man. So thank you so much. And Jimmie, what if they had anything to say to you, thankful or not?
They know very well how to tell me that they like this, and I appreciate everybody that's done it. What about you? Can you
You can Google.
Yeah,
we know Google.
It's fine.
Yeah, you can Google. If you Google the show, it'll say us, and then you can find us, and it's fine. You'll find us if you want to, if you give a shit.
You can know what I look like. You can know. You can probably find my address. I don't like that, but you probably could.
It's probably bad, so please don't come to our houses. Jimmie has guns strategically placed everywhere, so don't come to his house, I would say there. So that said, everybody, this has been a wild-ass show.
Yeah.
I love a weird foreign hockey app.
Great.
It's so fucking much fun, and we just had so much fun doing it, and we can't wait to keep doing it live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
What?
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus